Oh yeah, hello. I can't remember the volumes. Turn that down a little bit so I actually can. There you go. So I'm testing a new setup, and I don't know why the screen is not turning off on my action cam, which it should. And people say it gets hot, but to me it's not super hot. I hope this works, and I have a dirty ass desk, so yeah. You'll see that soon. Also a weird angle, but I hope it works out. I hope everyone is okay. Yeah. So people have been live streaming with an action cam for like 6 hours or something like that. You may hear my garbage can. So the plan is I have 2 laptops that I want to look at the cooling paste on. And I may take out the secondary what is it called? Hard disk from my PlayStation and put that in the other one. But the other one is an old one, and I don't know if I want to keep it around or what I want. But I want to keep it around, but I don't know if I want to put a hard disk in it, because the prices are super, oh shit, that's hot, are super expensive, as you guys already know. So yeah, the plan is that we are looking into taking those apart, and then maybe, depending on how I'm feeling, showcasing some software projects. One is a dashboard-ish kind of thing for live streaming, and the other one is just like a think of Kongi for Linux but for Windows, that for now just give you stats about your machine, and some of those stats are like information you normally would not know. So instead of calling the processor Ryzen, in my instance it's called AMD 64 Family 25 Model 26 Stepping 2 Authentic AMD, which is the AMD's name for the processor, basically. So I just find that a little bit more funny than just calling it a Ryzen 7, that you're actually getting the manufacturer's name for said processor and so on and so on. But it's something we can look into later on if you have time. I'm sure all the so-called experts on the internet is going to come in with other plans. Another thing is, if you have any video experts out there in right now, if you look at my video and you look at the canopy of the forest, or what you will call this, you can see it's like flickering, and I don't know how to not do that, to make my camera not do that. Because it's I think first I thought it was the stabilization, but it's not that. I looked that up. It's because of the light and the leaves, and then you have the blue sky, and it has a hard time figuring that one out, apparently. And I don't know if it's exposure, shutter speed, which I think it is. You need either longer opening up for the lens, or it needs to be faster. One of those two things. So the slower the shutter speed, it takes more in. The more light in, so that's good for low light experiences. The faster, you get smoother images and stuff like that. It's a balancing act, but it just irritates me a little bit. It gets really prominent right here. You can see it starts to. It could also just be that action cams just don't do well in foresters. You know, like they just don't like that much things changing so much. and this is like a path down to a beach that's super fucking nice that we will see here in a bit. That I think in like 15-10 minutes. That I don't know how to explain it. It's not something we usually see in Denmark. That reminds me, I forgot to fill up my water bottle, so enjoy this while I'm going filling up. Yeah, I know all of that. Yeah, FP. Yeah, that's not it. There's also exposure and there is which is the one that I think is the shutter speed and exposure can't go hand in hand, but it could also be the white balance that fucks up. It could also be because even if you set it in the shutter speed, you can have it either manually, but it's within a range, or you can have it automatically within a range. So it figures out itself how to do the shutter speed. And because exposure is what you think about is FPS times 2, if I'm not mistaken, or is it the other way around, where exposure is the range? And I don't know if you're going in a forest, you need to make sure that it's in a certain, or it has to be locked, because it could be that the range, so it's like 1 to 100, for example, to 1 to 8,000. And let's say it fluctuates in there, and that's why we get this artifact that it has to be like, let's say 1 to 500 in the forest or something like that. But yeah, the shutter speed is like so that's 30 FPS, so it's like set at 160, 60 over 1 or whatever the fuck it's called. You may hear some running water, so if you have to pee now, well, congratulations, you will go pee now, because I'm making drinks. Yeah, but they have so they have, what the fuck do they have? They have something called EV. It's also sharpness and noise reduction. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it, which I barely use. I think sharpness is -1 and noise reduction is -1. Lukewarm water is so nice. Fuck me. That was sarcastic, by the way. Yeah, there's so many fucking settings on that webcam. And I used all the presets that all the pros use, so... Yeah, so... That's the thing. Too much exposure can give you artifact, and too little can give you... So... You have to remember, this is not a DSLR. You know... So you can't use DSLR settings in an action cam and versus the other way around. So this is an action cam. So it uses ISOs, and I mean within the standard ISO range. Basically, I watched like 50 hours almost, maybe not 50, but I watched at least 20 settings for YouTubers, all from 500 subscribers to close to 1 million. And I took like so for this specific action cam, and I wrote down what they were using, you know, like the settings. And I then used the settings that occurred the most. So let's say someone was using, let's say they didn't use auto white balance. Out of the 20, 15 of them used manual white balance, then I will do that. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But there is, like, again, there is standards within this, and I used all the standards, and anything I shoot outside of in a forest looks amazing. It could also, so if you see here when I'm standing still, no problem. It could also just be the fact that I'm shooting in 30 FPS. It could just be the fact that I'm shooting in 30 FPS. I want to do another trial one next week, where I bump it up to 60. So this is 4K 30, and I want to bump it up into 4K 60. To see if it's just because the frame rate is too low. But I've seen a lot of people recording, what is it called, like snowboarding and cars. And well, if you look at the canopy, you can see what the issue is. I like that you're trying to help me without knowing the issue. You can't help me if you don't know what the issue is. But look at the canopy and how it's flickering. Like it has a battle between the leaves in the canopy, the blue sky, and the amount of light that it's putting in and out. So sometimes it looks like it's shifting. So it looks like it's overexposing the back end to some degree and not giving you the canopy, or the sky is trying to pass through the canopy. The top of the trees, the forest top, the you know where the trees meets the sky. If you look at that, you can see it. Here's a really good example here, where it kind of looks like someone is turning up and down the either saturation, exposure, or what you will call it. And some said that it was shutter speed, so I set it to the recommended shutter speed, and it didn't help. Before I had a lot of bending, but I'm starting to think that it's just because I'm doing 30 FPS. And because it's so detailed, 30 FPS may not be up to snuff. But then you also have to think, they shoot movies in 24 FPS. That's lower than 30, and they don't have this problem. But they're also using, proper equipment. This is an action cam. It's not meant to take, what you call it? Like, it's not meant to replace like a $10,000 professional equipment camera. But if I'm walking in town, or there's not so much going on up in with the forest in the top of the picture, it's fine. It's totally fine. So I will try and do 60. It's just sometimes 60 looks like, I get it if you're bicycling or snowboarding, 60 FPS. That's what I was thinking. That it's a sensor issue. Yeah. But again, I see people using this for snowboarding and stuff like that, walking in forests like I do, and they don't seem to have this problem. But they also don't have that much of the canopy or the top. You will see when we get down to like the beach, that it becomes a totally different picture. And when I mean picture, it's like it's more of a representation of what it is. First, I thought it was because if you take like a high res video and you look at it in a really small form factor, you also get some artifacting, because the anti-aliasing in the compressor and stuff like that can have issues. So I thought that it was that was the issue, but it's not. Yeah. But like I said, the settings I use now are used for snowboarding, anything from rocks to snowboarding to car racing, mountain biking, bicycling. The only thing I didn't do was using 60 FPS. So when these settings were for, like, they did just 4K 60, there were a few that did 30 with the same settings. And like I said, these are the settings that they use for anything you can imagine. But I am, like I said, like you said, it may be the sensor, or it could be the FPS. So if the FPS don't work, I will just believe it's the sensor, because if you see here, it's not that big of a problem. When we go in here, where there's more light coming in from, there's not that much stuff going on. And if it is the sensor, I will just lower next time I walk in the forest, I will just show less of the top sky, if that makes sense. This guy here, he was so fucking winded. I felt so bad for him. He could almost not speak. And I was like, I walked and I could almost not speak, and I was like, holy fucking shit, I feel so bad. This dude is running, he was almost passing out, and I was almost passing out and only been walking for 30 minutes. I'm just like, I'm so out of shape, it's not even funny. But yeah, I see people on YouTube live stream with it, where they or make YouTube videos like on mountain biking, in cities and stuff like that. But it could just, like I said, like you said, I have a suspicion it's the sensor that's just too small, or I just need to bump it up to 60 FPS. Because it could just be that there's too much going on for the 30 just don't make sense. But again, you know. Yeah, and it has a low light mode that just makes it worse, sadly enough. And this is a 4, and they already have a 6 out, so because if you see here, it's, and this is also early in the morning after a rainstorm, so there's not that much light anyway. And there's a little bit of post-processing going on, but it was like that before that. Oh god. But I do, like you said, I do suspect that it's just low light with the sensor and maybe the FPS. But you see here, the FPS, like I did a quick movement there, fine. And if you look like here, it looks fine. I do like to lower the... What did I do? I lowered the shadows a little bit, amped up a little bit of the highlights, and saturated a little bit, because I'm not shooting in D-Log, but I'm still shooting in 10-bit normal, and it's a little bit weird. Hey, Becky. But yeah, I really love sitting here just thinking and looking into the fucking forest. Forest, like the beach. Because this area here, almost nobody goes there. So the path that I went down is super traveled. But they go past there, because if you go to the left, you go further into the forest. There's like we have a walking path that goes... I live on an island, and you could basically walk almost all around the island along the coastline if you follow that path. If you go to the right, you also walk right, follow the coastline, but then you go into the city and the public beach areas and stuff like that. But that specific place, almost nobody sits there. You barely see any... I saw 2 campsites. Or not campsites, where they have like a little campfire is what I'm thinking about. Normally you see nothing, because people just go past it. But if you go down, as you saw, it's a really nice beach and it's really long. But nobody really wants to sit there, because it takes so much effort to go out there. So from where I live, it's like a 40-minute walk in the forest. If you live in town, it's probably a 20-minute walk from like the average place in the midtown out there, 20-25-minute walk, where we already have bathing beaches that's like 10 minutes away, 10 to 15 minutes away. And if you go further down the line, you have to walk like 2 or 3 kilometers before you come to the next location where there's any population. So I just think it's so remote, or there's easier access to the beach in other places, that they just don't go there. Like I said, they go past it for running. There's like a running path. What I'm walking right now is a public running path, bicycling path, and hiking path. And people just sometimes sit at the bench you see in the beginning and eat or get some drink, and they go past. They don't really sit at the beach. It's also where I used to collect rocks for a friend of mine, because again, nobody was really there. So I could just go and collect for myself. And we have a few spots of those where there's a lot of traffic, but nobody utilizes a perfectly fine, isolated picnic site, for example. Because it's too far away compared to the other picnic sites. So they'd rather be, instead of walking 25 minutes, they just walk 10 minutes, and then they deal with all the overpopulation and all the bullshit and stuff like that. But I do like walking there right after a rainstorm, because it's cool. And I will say it looks way brighter than it is. So that's probably why I get that flickering, because this is like at 9 o'clock in the morning or something like that. But I do like to walk there in the morning where there's almost no people, and especially after a rainstorm or thunderstorm where there's almost no people, because a lot of animals is out. It's cool, like I said, and because when you walk underneath like the canopy or you see the trees kind of like, you know, they overgrow the road, and when you have that water moistness, or what you would call it, you kind of get a little bit of a refrigerator effect in there. So I don't know if any of you have been like on a canoe trip or walking in really hot places. So if you take like a towel and make it wet and just put it over your head, it actually cools you down, even though you think that all the water will evaporate, but that evaporation actually cools you down, like a refrigerator kind of do. So GoPro is actually not that popular anymore, because GoPro is super fucking badly made. So I again, before I got this camera here, I looked at what everyone else is using, and the only one I see using GoPros are the people being sponsored by GoPro. Where I've seen people trashing their GoPros because they overheat and they break really fucking easy. DJI and Insta360 has taken over that market. It's so funny. It used to be like that like 10, 15 maybe years ago. But after like GoPro, whatever, I can't remember, like the one, like, I would say maybe 6 years ago, you know. Yeah, the sensors are not that big. It is probably... but then again, your phone have the same or smaller sensors, and they take great pictures and great videos. But I do think, like I said, this is probably a mixture between low sensor and it's low. Again, the light is lower than it looks like. It's in the morning, and it's damp, you know. So the rain, because when everything is when everything is wet, it gets darker. So everything looks darker than this. I'm actually surprised that it looks this bright, to be honest, because it was like at least 25% less as bright as you see it in the video right now. So it's actually doing really well. It may be also just be me being overcritical, and I expect like a $10,000, what is it called, quality out of a, what did I pay for this? I paid like $150 for this one or something on Amazon, because it's a 4th gen and there's a 6th gen out now, so I got it super cheap. Maybe I'm 250, 280 is probably with every shipping and everything. So maybe it's just me expecting too much from a action cam that's already like 3 or 4 years old. But here it's doing quite well, and in a second, when you see here, I can only use it in webcam mode for 1080p 30. So that's what you're going to see when we're going to mess around with my when we're taking apart the computers and stuff like that. I can smell my coffee. I got some coffee, instant coffee with caramel taste, and it's really fucking good. But it tastes a mixture between toffee candy and coffee. Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing: I'm not even using the low light mode that it has. It has a low light mode where it do it even more. Also, you have to remember I have boosted it about 5 to 6% post production. So I have boosted the saturation and the highlights a little bit post production, but it had that figure before that. So I have done something to boost the colors a little bit and the light a little bit. But I would say from like I said, if you take my modifications away and how I looked at it with my eyes, it's at least 15% brighter than it was when I looked like. So it must do something. I don't know what that something is. But again, it's not super bad. And again, most people don't look, you know, on the top part of the picture. They look like in the middle and below. But it's just some of those small little things that irritates me a little bit, because I to some degree, is a perfectionist in a lot of things. So now you guys, so this is the best I can do. You can see my fat fingers here and a lot of testing cables all over the place. But yeah, I found this angle to be quite well, and this is 1080p. No, this is I actually lowered it just to make sure that it didn't overheat, and I'm just touching it again. So this is 720p because I'm not using a full screen, and 30. And I have my Linux Nerd Check cup that I want to sip off here, and I need to find room for everything. Actually, I think I have a store where you can buy this one here. And also, I'm not using my... I could make a desk set. So this is me. I propped this off my the webcam. This is like a hinge, but it needs to be popped on again. Yeah, this is my new keyboard that I really like. Yeah, but I don't know. It's because this don't look super well. But what do you expect? It's like the newer ones look way better. But yeah, it's doing better than I thought. But you don't have much options when you're using it as a webcam set enough, and it's not what it's meant to be. I'm thinking of, but funny enough, it's better than my, what is it called? Elgato Mark II or something like that. It's actually better than that one, but just doing this. Because I was thinking about getting my webcam and use that. But yeah, I don't know. Also, I don't know about me doing this and the delay and stuff like that. You guys have to... I don't know, can I put that here without spilling... I'll probably spill coffee all over it. So if I turn off the keyboard and put it on somewhere else. So because I have not had a job in a long time, my apartment is filled with fucking weird ass shit. And I need to clean it. But we can talk a little bit. So this is the accessories that I got this box with all of these things with it, which is really fucking amazing. But you can probably see I have an old Xbox Series S standing here that I don't know what the fuck to do with. Because the plan was that me and someone at my previous work, we would want to do like a fighting tournament. And we had plans of buying, you know, like a cheap little, what is it called, trophy for like 10, 15 bucks that they could win and do like a, you know, get Game Pass and then do like a Street Fight or something like that. But yeah, that never happened. Also, I bought a shit ton of new watches, if you will see that you guys are interested in that before we go into it. So, I got this one here. Lamer will love this. This is like a reissue of the 80s G-Watch Square with solar and everything. It is called 5610. And I got like an Amazon strap for that. And then I have like the Casio Royal or what they call it. Everyone used this one here. I actually really like that also. And then I got this fucking Amazon wrist for my Garmin that I don't use much anymore. But I use once in a while when I need compass and all that stuff. And then you can see my fly catcher. But something I was really... I'm dragging this out a little bit so that people come in, by the way. So I will get to it. I don't know if you guys know this core pass, but I've seen Amazon has it also. That reminds me, I need to fucking dig out my other laptop. There you go. This is the other one we need to look at. It's an old ThinkPad. And this is a really scratched up, but really, really good Dell. This is like super fucking lightweight. Dell makes actually really good laptops. They sometimes are... They're not as well made as Lenovo, but they have more and better features. I think this one has, it has a 3D modem in it also. Yeah, so I was looking for a more universal and heavy-duty repair set, and everyone went with a used thing. What are they called? iFixit and stuff like that. And we have a site that's almost like Amazon here in Denmark, or in Europe, called ProShop. And they had this on sale. And you can also get this on Amazon. And I'm actually really fucking digging it. It's not... I must say, I have worked with iFixit it's not the same quality, but it's like 90% there. And I will say, if you do computer repairs or phone repairs and you do it all day for 8 hours a day, maybe this is not for you. But if you're like me that do it as a hobby once in a while, you can probably get a long ass walking way with this one here. This is one of my old. I'm a little bit of a multi-tool fanatic also. I love Swiss Army knives and multi-tool, and this is one of the first one I got when I start to get back into it. But it has a little bit of an issue. I don't know if you can see it. I can. It's probably hard to see, but I can move this one here. So there's a manufacturer fault that I noticed like 6 months after I got it. Because why I wanted this is that you can put, the idea is that you should be able to put like, Philips shit like this in here. But it don't work because of that. It's too, it wiggle too much. But I have a Leatherman. I use the Surge. It's probably the one I like the most. It's the best for its size. Size versus... I need a bigger desk. Can you go up there? Size versus what it can do. But I also like experimenting with different brands. So this is SOC. And if you don't know, like if you're in the military or been in the American military, you know what SOC stands for. It's from the old Vietnam area, Special Operations Group, I think it is called. But it's basically, this company, they started out making reissues of Vietnam area knives and stuff like that. And then they went over to multi-tools. And they have this little fancy like gear system here that gives you more leverage when you are using it, which I really, really love. But I just plopped that in here because I use it as part of as an addition to this tool. I don't even know what's in here. Oh, it's the anti-static wristband. So, well, we might as well talk about that because there's probably something coming in at some point and yelling and screaming about me not having it on and whatnot. So, most components on your hardware nowadays are super resistant to overcharging and anti-static electricity. That don't mean you should not think about it. I don't have a carpet. I typically sit in barefoot because I'm a fat, what is it called, Sasquatch. But I also have, underneath the table, I have an iron rod that the table is sitting on, that I touch with my leg or my thigh sometimes because I'm like 6'4". Or, when we get into the machine here, there are hinges and stuff like that that are done with metal that you can also touch. If you're on a computer, let's say, like a desktop computer, just touch the chassis once in a while. That's all you need to do. People has been super, what is the word, vigilant or oversensitive towards static electricity. And again, it is something you have to think about. Like if you're on a carpet with, I'm not fondling balls here, but with a lot of fur on it, or if you have animals running around, or you use a lot of synthetic fibers in your clothes, touch some metal, or even if you really want to be safe, do this. Or I will also say, if you're doing it for a customer, it never helps. It never hurts to not have it on. But I've worked on computers for fucking 20, 30 years now. And I've never fried anything. And I've been working with socks on high carpet and stuff like that. I've electrocuted myself on a case while working on it. And non-component went on. That was before they started doing all of these protection things. It's a relic from the 80s and 90s that a lot of people, they put over today. And it's like, oh my God, we need to look out for that. They don't think that things evolve. Because manufacturers know that people don't take the best precautions when they do stuff. Even professionals don't do that. And I've seen a lot of professionals working on computers and helped a lot of professionals working on computers. And they don't even put like the wristband on. They just, instead of touching glass, they just touch metal. So let's see if I can remember how to take this fucking thing apart. I think this is the one we need, like the big one here. Also, the magnets are not this strong in it. It is not like a super high quality set, but it gets the job done. And it's you can see how scuffed it is. It's because I've been I have a laptop stand of metal I've been putting on top of it, because I barely use this one, to be honest. But it is a really, 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 really neat laptop. The reason why I don't use this is because it's a 12th gen Intel. Good morning, Cycling Panda. So it's a well, it's a 12th gen Intel. It only has a 1080p monitor in it. So the battery life is not that good, and when you're coding, you don't get like, now it's like 1200p everyone is using, even Dell. But this gets me about 4 hours of coding time, where my development laptop, if I can take that out without throwing everything on the floor. This one here, this is running a Ryzen 5, one of the, I think it's like a 7 or 5 gen, I can't remember. This one here, it's on hibernation. I can leave this for a week and nothing happens with the battery life. And this one here, I get about 8 hours of development time out of. But it's super heavy. It's aluminium. I built it that way. I custom ordered it from Dell last year, the moment it just ran out of it. This one here is a 13, the other one is a 14 inch. This one is super light, but it's just, the battery life just fucking sucks on it. It's just really fucking irritating, to be honest. And there's Captic screws in this one here. And also, something you have to remember when you watch YouTube videos, people treat equipment differently depending on if it's their own or others. Most people treat other people's things better than their own. So they will, again, make sure they don't scuff the edges so much and stuff like that. But if it's their own and they don't care about it and they don't want to resell it, they are a little bit more rough with it. And it's with everything. I've seen a lot of I'm a professional mechanic. I've seen a lot of mechanics where you work with them and they're so meticulously with how they do stuff, and everything has to be that, and then you go home and help them change some manifold on their own car, and it's done in a way where you're like, are you not afraid of fucking breaking everything the way you do it? So a lot of people, they would just take their screwdriver like this and they would plop it in here and do this here. You know, which is not perfect. You should not do that. Or what you should be doing, like, is using stuff like this here. Or you know, guitar picks up here. I will take this one out. But this is already a scuffed up laptop and stuff like that, so I don't mind doing that. And again, you have to be, what is the right word? Help me here. I'm really bad with this. I'll not say it's not a baby. And this is one of the things that I see a lot of people when they're working on anything. It can be cars, laptops, whatever it is. They are so afraid of going in and actually just, you know, getting into it. And yes, you can break stuff like this somewhat easy, but if you treat it with respect, but also gentle, you should not be afraid. Like you see, I just basically just put a screwdriver in, propped it up, and did that. When people are not recording videos, that's how 99% of people are going to do it. Even repair shops. They will find a place where nobody looks if they're really busy. You can see here there's a little bit of scuffness. I don't know if you can see that, but I put my screwdriver in and you can actually barely see it, if at all. Because it's just faster. And if you have like 5 or 6 or 10 computers you need to fuck around with, that's just faster to do that. I'll put this on the floor. Or not on the floor, but on an old speaker. But this is how it looks like. And I've never taken one of these apart, so I'm really, really curious how to do this. Like, this is something I almost never do on laptops, is like replacing coolant. So I'm thinking we don't even need to take this off. We can just remove this one here. And it has some plus here. I don't know what this is. This is probably like a module. A really good thing that you probably should do is take out the battery. And it's different from machine to machine. This has like, is it just plugged in? I can't remember how Dell is doing it. I should probably look this up. Oh, is it this one here? They'll always do it. So they either have like a little thing you have to click up. So a little thing you have to click up. Whoop, or a little, what is it called? Tab. It's really hard to see, but it looks like there's a little tab here. So you should probably take this one and there you go. Just, I had to really fucking take that and manhandle it. Probably not the best thing to do. But again, you saw how it flexed the motherboard. If you're just going in here to clean the cooling paste, you really don't have to do that. Am I a technician? Well, I've worked on computer for 30 years and I'm worked on cars, industry, electronics and stuff like that. So I don't know if I would call myself, depending on what you mean by technician, because the word technician means so many things depending on where you live in the world. Am I educated in computer repairs? Nobody is educated in computer repairs. You don't go to school to get a computer repair education. You go to school to get infrastructure, IT, coding, stuff like that. Yeah, time is on its way, to say. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But funny enough, there's no like, as far as maybe there is now, but there is no like, oh, let's go to school to learn how to do this. Maybe if you take like an electronic course, you can do this. Most of this is just common sense. Look up guides on like iFixit guides. Look up Dell's guides how to do this. But most of it, if you have any engineering-esque degree, so that means like mechanic, engineering. If you're used to work with your hands and tools like this, you can do this. Just use common sense. So again, I don't think we need to take the fan off here. Because a lot of times, this is one unit and this is a unit of itself where you take the fan off. Because fans is one of those things in computers that typically goes first. Because the thing with laptops, and again, this is going to take a long time because I would like to make this a little bit of educational also. Laptops are not meant to sit on your lap if they're not a MacBook or one of the fanless laptops that you buy from Windows. I will say this again, laptops are not meant to be sitting on your lap. They are not meant to be doing this. When you put a laptop on your lap, what you do is you take a piece of fabric and you do this. You're choking it. And it's it's kind of you know, the word laptop is really bad because people think, oh, I can just have it in bed and stuff like. I cannot explain how many times I'm taking off a laptop. People also say you should not do this. You can do this. I can't explain how often I've taken a laptop off and people say this fan goes 24/7 and it's just caked up with dust in here. And cat hairs and girlfriend hairs and guys' pubic hairs, because God knows what they're using it for. A laptop is meant to be used on a table where these little things say elevated enough so air can come in here. If you want to use it in bed or on your lap, you have to buy a fanless laptop or a MacBook that is designed to be used that way. But using your computer/laptop in close to your clothes or in bed makes it, you're introducing particles really easy forward. So in bed there's a lot of dust particles and fiber particles. And it's really one of the things that I like about MacBooks is that you don't have to do that or think about it. So my what is it called, potato computer is the computer I use in bed and on my lap. That's a MacBook Air from 2000, so the first generation M1 chipset, because it has no fan in it. And if you are sitting with it on your lap, and I see a lot of professionals do it, I see a lot of developers do it, I see a lot of students do it, once, depending on how often you do it, but once a month maybe, take the back off, get some compressed air or whatever, and then take this out, spray this out. And you see this is kind of clean. I also don't barely use this laptop. If you open the other one, it's probably less clean. But a laptop is not meant to be a laptop, sadly enough. It's a portable computer. It's sadly, but that's how it is. And a lot of people don't think about that. But it's really one of the biggest issues with laptops nowadays is that this gets kicked up, this overheat, performance goes down. This is why I kind of want to take this apart to see. Again, I have never taken this apart on a Dell before, so I could break this computer. I could ruin this computer, nobody knows. We could be watching a live feed. Also, this whole heatsink shit looks really weird, but I hope that I don't have to take this apart, or this apart here. But always use common sense. If something looks a little bit too dangerous, if something looks like I need to use too much force, consult a guide. Don't just go with it. If you already have some experience working on anything mechanical, you are like 80% there. And people also tend in general to be super scared of stuff like this. If you're working on a $3,000 computer, I get it. So always work on your own stuff first. This is my computer, I bought it, I don't care if we break this today. A part of me wish we break it today because it could be a super good video or what not to do. And like I said, I barely use this one. The other one I showed in the beginning, the 8th gen Lenovo, I never use. I bought that because I wanted to make a server with Linux, but I'm using a NAS now. I just thought this would be an interesting video. You can see here, this is another thing that you may need to change. This is the CMOS battery, I think is the correct word. Let's put in with a little nippet thing there. These are the two things you normally open your computer up for. Uncaking this one, taking all your dirty fantasies out of it, or taking a new CMOS battery so it knows we're living in 2026. Another thing is, stuff like this here is under tension. I don't know if it's how easy it is to see, but I don't want to move around too much with the cam, so I will put it there, but maybe I can. Ugh. It's a little bit difficult to get to, but you can see it's kind of like a little bit bent here, going down. And every time something is in tension, and this is something you will learn in almost any practical field, is that you don't just go in and then screw it off because it can warp. I don't know if I... give me a second, I can probably explain it a little bit better. So what you don't want, or what could happen, is actually what happened here. You see, I just ripped this off. Let's say I take this off here. This should not happen here, but if this has been a manifold on a car or on an industrial machine where tolerance are really, 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 really important, if this was pure metal and it just moved 1 millimeter or 1/10 of an inch or whatever you will use, that can be enough that it's now leaking or not performing as it should do and stuff like that. So never, that's why I hate all these electrical screwdrivers that people are using nowadays. Yeah, use it on the backplate, use it on the battery, use it on the fan. But anytime there's something under tension where it's really important, so if there's like a gasket underneath it, or O-ring underneath it, use your fucking hands. It gives you Popeye strength, forearm strength. That is, the girls really love that fucking shit, by the way. So what I and everybody else do, we just, we feel now there's no tension. Do this one here. And typically you should do it like cross pattern. No tension. No tension. No tension. And you can kind of see that this is now, maybe not so much, but this goes up a little bit. And when there's no tension on it, I'm shaking because I'm drinking coffee. You just screw it up a little by little. And that's all you do. Take the tension off first. It's a little bit like approaching a girl. You don't just go in and say, "Oh, you're so beautiful, I can't live without you. You're the most important girl in my life. Let's have babies and move in together." No, you crack her up with a joke. You ease the tension, take her out on a date, you know, like you get to know her. And then when you have taken the tension away and she's more, then you can then like take the electrical screwdriver and preheat her to the 10th degree or something like that. I hope you get what I'm coming at here. So I like to watch a lot of watch collectors and stuff like that, and also computer repairs. And the amount of people that use electrical screwdrivers for computers. Look, this is not like I'm doing this one-handed. I could be, if I had a girlfriend, I could be doing this right now. But this is not fucking difficult. You don't need electrical equipment to do things all the time. Just, you know, get some exercise or use your hand or whatever. These should be out now. So I just see if I can bend them up. Oh, this one is a little bit difficult to get into. You see it's already getting off. Oh! And it's off. And you can see here, there's already some Pornhub sessions in here. So we can take that away here. I don't have any compressed air. I don't like it that much, but let's lay that here. If you have to, it's okay to use your mouth. Not in a dirty way, but, you know, puts a little bit of on it. And I'm just going to use, and this is another thing. Is this the most correct way? Probably not. Does it work? Yeah. I'm just going to use these suckers here. Get some alcoholic glass cleaners, they will do the job. I've used them on CPUs for decades. I don't want to sit there with appropriate alcohol and put up a little thing and take my Q-tips, and I do that once in a while, but these and some stock standard paper is enough. You don't have to. I don't know why there's. I don't know. These works well, but I kinda and I forgot to take some paper towels here. But I kinda want to see how. Does this look Does that don't it look a little bit dry to you guys? Like, I don't want to touch it too much because but don't it look dry? Oh yeah, this is dry as fuck. This is drier than my last girlfriend. Yeah, this is dry as fuck. So I have a little bit problem with this one here that I feel, but 12th gen Intel, they tend to run hot. I just felt this one too hot. The fans went on too much. So that's why I'm doing this. You get what I'm saying? And some may say here, like, oh, they spent too much cooling paste. Oh yeah, this is like... So this is like a 2000 and... Yeah, see, I can mold it like this. Maybe it's meant to be like that. I don't fucking know. And that's the cool part of it. I don't need to know. Where's my... Where the fuck is my cooling paste? Oh, here it is. So this is what I'm going to put on it. I'm going to... Oh god, you guys are going to love me today. And I mean that in a sarcastic way. This is Arctic. This is one of the MX5. It don't really matter so much which one you buy. People go super nuts with this thing here. Okay? If you're chasing 1 or 2 extra degrees because you need that for like super overclocking, then do it. Most people, even like this shit that's on here is probably 10 times lower quality than this one here. If you're just an average user running your thing every fucking day, there's no need to go and buy thermal pads that cost $10 or stuff like this here that cost you $10, $15. Don't get the cheapest, get the average. You know, look at the expensive, look for name brands. You know, Arctic. These are actually cheap, so that's why. Like, like liquid metal? Yeah, you can do that if you're really fucking nuts, but you don't have to. Like, you really don't have to. You're not trying to do overclocking sessions and stuff like that. You're just trying to research your latest waifus and VTube on YouTube. Don't go too nuts with that shit, okay? Just get your stock standard average fucking Corsair. I would say get the name brand that's on sale. That's the cheapest you can get. And I have my little unboxing knife here I bought on Amazon. I really love this one. Oh, can I show this on YouTube? I just like it because this was like $10 and I needed a little bit to get free shipping. But yeah, just don't go too nuts with this. Did I not? I did cut it off. I need someone with long nails. What the fuck? Oh, it's one of those. I'm really butchering this. Wait, isn't it one of those? No, I can take a part of a computer. I can't get the fucking thermal paste out of the box. There you go. I think MX5 is the one everyone's using, and MX7 is... It has a little bit of other characteristics. I think this is longer lasting. I can't remember. But yeah, I also need a lot of... By the way, if you have Lidl where you live, get a box of these for like a few dollars, and then that's it. You know, Bob's your uncle. And I use them to clean my glasses when I remember to clean them. But that's, well, we could use this one. The reason why I'm doing that is like if something spills over, it lands on these Um, dry ass fucking paste. But yeah, you see, like, I get why when you see, like, the JS2 Sense and all of those, they're using all those expensive stuff, and I do get it. Like, it's a little bit like, you know, if you cook, you like quality ingredients. If you are a mechanic, you like quality components on your car for the most of the time. I've seen a lot of mechanics using the worst components ever on their car. If you are, um, holy fucking shit, this is caked on. This is like dry. You know, professionals, they like to use the best of the best. And a lot of times you get what you pay for. So the best of the best mean longer lifetime, better quality main components, easier to use or work with. Oh, this is what I did not want to happen. In the trash with that one, in the trash with that one. So we have to sort trash in Denmark to the fucking nth degree. So the wrapping needs to go in one bag, the inserts needs to go in another bag. And then we have like 10,000 fucking other bags that things need to go into if they contain too much of one thing. And if fucking you... I don't know what they pay garbage guys for anymore, but we're doing most of the fucking job nowadays. But yeah. Like I said, if you want the latest and greatest, the most expensive stuff, go for it. You really don't need to. And now we just put it on and Bob's your uncle and everything works. I would say that to piss off the internet. We were talking about cleaning with compressed air, and I don't like that so much. And I will explain that. Look how it's like not even liquid anymore. Oh, I have to put it in the... I need to use a lot of these today, it looks like. The only thing I hate about these is they're really fucking irritating to get off. There you go. Or open. Luckily enough, I have a whole new shipment of these. So normally... And you again, you have to be a little bit careful, so not like... What is it called? Like, don't like put a nail into it, because we are directly on the die here. Normally there would be a heat spread on top of it. That's the big metal thing you see on your... Do I even have a desktop CPU laying around? Oh, I do. So normally this is like the heat spreader that would be on top of here. And underneath this one there is something. And this was just in a drawer. This will work. Trust me, that will work. Also have RAM in there and stuff like that. Basically what I want to showcase today is that you don't need to be that careful. This is where I could have used a Q-tip. There's a little bit of whatchamacallit, what's it called? Fibers on it. God damn it. Do I already have it all over my fingers? I think I do. Like, If I had alcohol, I would probably just do that, but this is more than you need. This is way good enough. I just need to reaffirm myself that it's like so. We put it down, right? Yeah. You want to see how easy it is. Like, this is the first time I take a Dell apart. I think the only one that we've done this on is HP, I think. So, it looks like it's damaged, but it's not. It's yeah, it's just particles. This is the next good debate. Well, now we figured out which one we want. I'm using MX7. I thought I bought MX5, but I'm MX7. Who gives a fuck? It's cooling paste. It cools, okay? I'm not trying to run for the most biggest temperature gains or decreases, what you call it. I just want to work. And this computer is from 2022 or 3, so it's not that old. It's like 3 or 4 years old. And the thermal paste was already botched up. And I think it's because it's a 12th gen Intel and they run hot. So, depending on if you're using a big or small CPU, you know, there are different ways you can do this. You can do the little P thingy. P size, not P on your CPU, of course. Oh, it's actually have like one of these closing things. Nice. Or you can put a little bit on and use something like this or some other things and spread it out. I've done it all. I've done the crisscross, dot, blah, 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 whatever the fuck it is. I will say lately I'm going more with the spreading out kind of thing. This one here, I would probably put too much on and just put some dots on, and because there's like this barrier between here, that if it spills over, it don't just spill directly over. And that's probably also what they did here, because if you looked, it had spilled over into these parts here, and that they probably put what the professionals would say too much on. Don't be too afraid of putting too much on. It just looks wrong. It just looks stupid. Not stupid, that's the wrong word. It just, well, when you look at it and you have cooling paste, it just don't look right, okay? And it also means that next time you have to work on it, you have to deal with that cooling paste. Don't be afraid of putting too little on it. Because when you go in and you do your... I haven't done a CPU temp run on this one. I should probably have done that before we did this. But I've been, like I said, I've been using this for like 6 months. And I just noticed it run a little bit hot. From my experience. Don't be too fussed about it. Because if you put too little cooling paste on... Let's say you did the little P thingy and you didn't P correctly on it. Or put the P the right place. You just take it off and you put a little bit extra. You don't have to re-clean it, and just because, let's say I put a little dot on it, I put this on, and oh shit, half of it didn't get covered, so it's running 10 times more hotter. Just take it off. It's still pliable. It still works. Put a little bit extra on. Maybe then go and do the little I forget there's a cabinet all the time. Do a little bit, you know, putting out and put it back on again. Don't be afraid of doing that. Nobody's going to see it. You have to remember, a lot of things that people do on videos, me included, we're doing it because, well, we have to do it in a certain way, or else someone will come in and say, you forgot about this, you're not doing it right. You're not using your wristband, you're not, you know, there's always the smart people on the internet you have to satisfy. So to make sure that you don't have to deal with them in the comment section, you tend to overdo or overcorrect or do it 100% after the book. And I can say a little bit of a story here. This is not computer related, but it's the idea is the same. Working on a car, following the fucking textbook in a shop, working well. Getting a call, my friend is stranding in like 4 hours away. in the middle of nowhere and can't get home because his car can't start. It won't run. We go up there, we figure out the problem, we put it together with Band-Aid, gaffer tape, zip ties, exhaust tape, or whatever you will call it, and it drives 4 hours home. And it runs 3 months after that. Did we do it after the book, like 12 o'clock, 4 hours away from the nearest shop, or 4 hours away from where we live? No, we were like, this is enough to get it home. Look at Top Gear. The way they're mending their cars. That will never fly in a workshop. But they drive thousands of miles with it anyway. Things can withstand and hold a lot longer than you think. And a lot of the things where it's like, this is how to do it after the book, is because, well, then we can say with guarantee that we know it will work. Then we can also say that if you repair this thing according to the book, this thing will work, this thing will work, because we have tested it. So the book is really good if you're working, and you want to guarantee, you want to uphold that, you want to make sure that it's reproduced in the same way. Because why is there an instruction manual in a textbook when you can just figure it out on your own? That means that I do it this way, Bob do it the same way, Josephine do it the same way. That means that we get reliable results. That don't mean the textbook or the manual is the only way of doing things. So don't be afraid of putting too much cooling paste on, too little cooling paste on, or putting, let's say, oh, I don't have this plastic bit here. Take a piece of paper, cut it up in the same shape and put it on top of it. It's only there to protect the SSD and make sure it don't short circuit, which you can do with electrical tape, paper, cardboard box, whatever the fuck you want. It's probably not the best thing if a customer open it up and see there's like, electrical tape or cardboard and stuff like that. But if it's for you at home or your friend or your mate, go nuts. Don't be too afraid. But we have to do this on the internet. Like, I would never put a cardboard box in here, a piece of paper in here, unless it's for testing purposes, to seal the SSD on a YouTube video or on a live stream, because then I will get yelled at by the collector. I'll probably do that anyway, because I'm sitting here without the wristband on, and I have a watch on, and I'm probably putting too much cooling paste on, and I didn't use Q-tips, and I didn't look at the right fucking hentai before I did the video. They will always have something to yell and scream about. But we're trying to mimic it to the best degree possible. I hope this makes sense. And you guys can't see this, but I'm a shaky motherfucker because I got too much caffeine in my body, so I'm trying to do this. And I hate using cooling paste in new tubes because they are always super fucking hard to get going. Is it plugged? No, it's not plugged. Why are you not working? Oh, there it comes. And I would probably say this is way too much. Oh, god damn it, I remember why I didn't like this. This is the, yeah, this is way too much. So this MX7 is not so viscosity, I think it's called. That's why it's so hard to get out. So it don't spread that easy. So I probably need to put some more here. Holy fucking shit. Yeah, this is like... So you can see here, it's like spaghetti. Can I move some of this shit over there? Yeah, this is going to be fucking mental to work with when I'm done. You can see here, it's like really hard. This is way too much. So that's the difference between 5 and 10. So I have to be somewhat fast with this one here. So you can see here, I just did this like quick and dirty. And when I take this off another time, there'll be cooling paste all over the fucking place. But it's cooling and it's working. So when you put them back on again, a little bit crisscross. And I can see this one is already not in line correctly. There you go. So give it a little bit so it just gets hold of the threads. Because it is on tension. And then screw it down till you feel a little bit of, like, it's almost there. So now I'm getting some resistance. And then I stop and I do all 4. And depending on how fucking strong you are and how much of Superman you are, give it just a little bit of a tap. That's why I like to use one hand, because it's really hard to overscrew them with one hand. And you don't need a lot of force. And I really, really butchered this fucking appliance up of this cooling paste. I normally work with MX5 and I'm just copium right now and I'm making excuses all over the place. Yeah, but this is like really fucking thick, like me. Now we just need to put this on without fucking executing everything. There you go. And you see, I need to really, like, you can see it bending. Don't be afraid of that. So everything should be down. Oh, everything should be down. Let's just recheck. Here's what I would recommend if you've never done this before. Buy a computer for parts. And then pretend you got a work order in. You need to change the battery. You need to reapply cooling paste. You need to change the SSD. So on that computer for parts, you don't replace the battery, you just take it out and put it back in again. You take the cooler out and put it back in again. You take the heat pipe out and put it back in again. I have some cooling paste on my hand. Oh, that's why. I hope this makes sense. So when you do, that's how I did it in the beginning. I got like really, really old laptops and computers, and I was just like, how do you take this out of it? How do you replace this? And I just did it on a machine that if I, let's say, fucking exploded the battery, who gives a fuck? And you can get them for like $20 or something. They cost nothing. You know, like, pretend you have to take the screen out. These are also the things you can touch to get the what's it called? Not de-execute. Decharge yourself. It seems like this hinge is made to work with different models. And I think this is for modem. I thought it had a modem in it because I thought it had like it has a card reader over there. And it has, so this is the Wi-Fi. Wait. So they put in the SIM card reader, but they did not put the modem in. Or am I just, or is this some, no, this is just a normal standard Wi-Fi modem or Wi-Fi module. Yeah, that seems like it, because sometimes you get Wi-Fi and mobile on the same, but it seems like this is, what the fuck did they do that? What the fuck? Anyway, now we have this little sucker here. And again, don't be afraid. I already have cooling paste all over myself. I don't like how rubbery this is. I'm never using that again. But they say this should be better than 5, and I don't know. Yeah, this like you can see here the paint job is not that way. If it was a car. So if you look, you can see the clips, and sometimes they will go like this. So that means you have to put it in like this. Sometimes they will go like this, and that means you have to put it in like so. And it seems like this one here don't have a preference, but I typically like to do it from the opening side. And then in here, and again, be aware, but don't be too afraid of using a little bit of force. If you break a tab, it don't fucking matter. It will still put on. The only thing you have to be aware of, you don't make like a crack in the you know, like crack one of these down here, something like. But if you just put even pressure around it, it should be okay. You should not be too afraid or too careful. Not too careful, but too afraid. And I did not put it all the way in. Well, what I mean by that is, am I still live? I am. Oh, does it turn on? No, it don't. Now it does. I don't think I want to do the other one. It don't seem this is like something people are too excited about. So I will do the Lenovo in my spare time. But it seems to be working right now. I don't know what the temperature is or what they used to be or whatnot, but yeah. Do my fingerprint work? Oh, it does. Should we just try and run a benchmark? What if we do, is it core temp? It will 100% thermal throttle. I accept the agreement. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We don't need additional language packs. No, we don't want to do that. We don't need remote server. They always try to install so much extra shit. We don't need to do the readme. I was looking for the nipple. The averages are in the 60s, 70s. I should have done one before, but this looks normal-ish. I think this has a T. Does it tell you the TGI max? No. Oh, there it is. 100. So as long as, you know, like you don't thermal throttle, that should be cool. Okay, let's go in and so the new Cinnabends is weird. I think it is. I think we need the Cinnabends. Entity, whatever. Whatever, just use this one here. Don't Maxion. They've bought up a shit ton of stuff lately. It seems to be running quieter. How is this 2.5 gigabytes? And why is it so slow to download? So, I will explain again why. So, running cooler. I need something to play with my hands. Running cooler can be really good for a lot of things. So, the less your fan runs, the less power your computer consumes, the longer battery life you get. I had another Dell where the fan was broken, so there was resistance in the fan because one of the ball bearings was not okay. So that meant that it basically ran all the time. And the battery life was an hour. I changed the fan and it went up to like 3.5 hours. It was like an old Dell. And running a fan takes power. The more power you use, the less longer your battery life run. Makes sense, right? So let's say because of bad cooling paste, that means that it has to start earlier to run the fans. That means less battery life. And that's why I want to try this on this one here and see if it helps with this MX7 that I thought was 5. I'm copium here. I did not put too much cooling paste on, which I definitely did. And the comment section will yell and scream at me for that. But my hope is that the less I have to run the fans, the longer battery life I get. Because this is, even though this is on a 1080p screen, there are some benefits of running Intel over AMD in productivity tasks. And you can ask all your creators and tech gurus and they will say yes. So that's just... yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah, this is definitely a newer one that I have not looked at. Can I just run CPU multiple threads? Yep. Warming up. And we are already thermal throttling. Ah? No, we are not. You can't see this, but Core C will definitely have a problem here. So this is what it's running at now. This is actually better than it was before. It did go up to 100, but the other ones did not. This is a 10-minute test. I'm not going to run them all again. I want the old Cinnabons. Where's the... What the fuck did I do? Did I start it again? Yeah, I did. I hate this Cinnabon so much. Where is it 2024? Maybe we should go online. Oh, is it R23? Is that the one we're looking for? What are the search all OS? What the fuck? Why is it 24 and this called 26? What the fuck is wrong with you? Cinnabons, just... Why are you running I said stop. Do I need to consult your dad? There you go. Refresh, is that zeroing everything out? Oh, reset, there it is. There you go. Why is that complaining? What? Oh. Yeah, why are you complaining? What's up with you? Let's try this one here and see what that does. Yeah. You're on my pawn collection here. I need to figure out why it does, because it's not overheating. You done? Oh, you're not saying completed, yes. Come on, complete. Okay, now you're completed. Extract all. It's funny that it's just that one CPU or CPU. What the fuck? Windows, what are you doing? Do I need to install Linux on you? Oh, I forgot. So I did some NVMe musical chairs. So because I don't want to buy new NVMEs because they cost an arm and a leg right now, this has a super slow one in it. It's almost like shutter speed slow. Because my plan is that if this actually, I need to figure out why it's doing that. If it could just be an architecture thing. because it seems to be in line with everything. It's not running hot or anything like that. I don't know. Um, if this actually works, which is Seaweed has been doing with changing the cooling paste, I'm taking the 2 terabytes NVMe I have in my PlayStation, my secondary drive, because I don't use the PlayStation other than for, what is it called, Gran Turismo. And then I will put that in here and put this drive here over in the Lenovo, because this drive was original from the Lenovo. The fans are kicking off on it though. Come on. I probably have a Windows update running in the background also. Do I have that? It will be called Windows. Oh, what is it? It has a weird name. I can't remember it, but I know it when I see it. Boop boop, beep beep, pop pop. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why is Oprah running? Why? Like, Microsoft needs to stop doing everything in Electron. Look at how much shit it uses. I don't think the Microsoft Store is in Electron. It's probably in WinUI, but Electron is such a fucking bad system. Oh yeah. Open up, Bobby. Definitely fucking feel the... Can I see what hard drive this is? Ah, this is the same. No. I took the wrong one. I'm so stupid. I like that it's actually overclocking itself a little bit here. It's running like 1 volt more, almost 2 volt more, volt, almost 2 volt more than the CDP allows it to do. It is loud though. This is just the thing, I can never remember which one is the correct Cinnabons version to use. So if there's anyone in chat, should we do the software thingy? Look at some software projects? Or should we replace the thermal thingy on the Lenovo? So 2 for the Lenovo and 1 for software. And if I don't get any reply, I think this will be the live stream for me today. And then I will off live stream just code. This is a 10-minute run. Like, I know this is doing the same as the old one, I just don't like that I'm not seeing all the cores. It's not boosting so much anymore either. I just feel this is a really fucking bad example. Oh, now shit is going on. Do we have any stop it, yes. I don't want stop that fucking shit. Let's try and look at this one here and see if that gives us the other one. How long do we go back? 10? Yeah, they really fucked it up with the new test. I don't know. It just don't seem to hit the CPUs in the same way. Uh, 23. I'm just running through Cinnabons. Boop, boop. Oh, 600, 800. Or 800 megas. That's really low. There's a video about someone that he wants to see how much he could underclock his laptop. That's really interesting. Oh yeah, I think this is the one I like. Yeah, this is hitting the CPU in totally different ways. Again, this is a 10-minute test. Now we can also see it's boosting up way more than it did before. I don't know why the what the other one is doing. That's not that why it's not that efficient. But at least we're not maxing out. Just one pass and then that's it. Also, I'm thinking about maybe start streaming more Asia friendly. So early in the morning. I used to spend so much time just sitting and also we are not plugged in, so yeah, and we used 50% of the battery life. Well, it was not. I think we used like 25% to be honest, because it was like always like 25% from being fully charged. Maybe I should do a gaming stream on Twitch when I'm done with this one here. That could be fun. I haven't done that in forever. It is keeping steady with I should run one plugged in to be honest, but I really can't be bothered. Oh, I just bumped. Yeah, we are done. So R23 is the one I want. Let's yeah, let's plop. Wait. Yeah, there is no modem in it. Wait a minute. It's not disk, it's device. Why are they? Why would they oh, have 6E? Or actually have a really good Wi-Fi module in it. Yeah, why the fuck will they put like on the side there is the slot forward and everything, but okay. Maybe where it comes from, they're taking out the modem. Maybe there's some security. Is there some security? I don't know. like potential data you could retrieve. I don't know. Oh, this is hot. And again, I like to do all of these screws in with like one hand, so you don't overtype them. I do like this laptop. I just wish it had another CPU in it. And yeah, that's like only being a 1080p monitor I can kind of live with. It's the CPU I don't like because it's super inefficient. And also I'm typically right-handed. I'm using my left hand now, so this is a little bit weird. Yeah, it's a thing, I guess. Do I want to put thermal paste on the other one? No. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. I need to do some more testing on this one here. And you can get plopped up there. I think maybe some, I don't know. What did I can't have a quick look at it because I don't think I oh, this is sturdy as fuck. Yeah, because I don't think I closed it down after I took out the SSD from it. This one definitely 1000% sure needs cooling. Yeah, I did not. And Lenovo, you definitely don't be afraid of manhandling Lenovo laptops because they are fucking clipped together like tanks. I already broke this one. There's a little. Is it here? Or is it here in the back? I don't know. There's somewhere where I scuffed up the plate. Where is it? Oh, it's here. You can barely see it. It's here. And this one here you have to take apart from the behind and forward, but it's really weird. Yeah, there you go. So this side here is the best one to take out because there's all these weird things here that just make it strange. When I say weird things, and yeah. And this is an old motherfucker. This has an 8th gen and it has no NVMe in it. Should I replace this now we're in here? I don't know. The thermal paste. This is where they have like half of the RAM on board and the other one you can put on. And this is where the modem would be. And I think this is their Wi-Fi. No? Oh, here it is. Oh wait, the Wi-Fi is like... Oh, it's built on. Oh god, no. So you can't upgrade the Wi-Fi module. Holy shit. So this is a 2018. The other one is a 2023 or 2 machine. And that one you can upgrade the Wi-Fi module. In this one you can't, it's soldered on. Like, they'll do, like, they are, I will not say better, but they typically are better repairable, I think is the right word. That seems not to be locked in right. But the chassis of these are better built than Dell's. This is the speaker. Because I was thinking about making this into a potato machine. Like a couch potato machine. The hinges looks nice though. Oh, that's the power button. And if I remember correctly, this is actually the reset button. Wait, it has a little heatsink here? What the fuck? Or cooling pipe, is that connected? Yeah, it feels like it is. So there must be some chokes or something like this. Where's the power supply? They must have figured out that something here is really, really hot. So this is why I'm a little bit like, does this need thermal paste? Because it's super fucking clean. When you think about this is like, what is it, like 8 years old. Like, it's super fucking clean. But this is one of those like impulse buys where I was like, this was on sale. Like, oh, I can do so much interesting with it, and then I got it, and it's like, oh, this is like the bare. Like, it don't even have fingerprint reader. This is how like bare bone this is from Lenovo. So this has probably been like a accountant's computer or something like that that's been sitting on a desk all the time, just running some form of office software or something like that. Because this was exactly the same development machine I used to work with for like a year and a half. With 16 gig, same processor. And it was super fine. And I was like, well, this is a super cheap development laptop then. That I could be just plugged in all the time, but the keyboards is, I think they replaced the keyboard on it because that's really fucking bad. There's no fingerprint sensor, I can't fingering it. I do like it has all these daughter boards here, so you can theoretically change them. I think these are the ones. Oh no, so these are the ones that one of these will fry, one of these USBs, and it also happens to be the one that is not on the daughter board, on a daughter board. You know, why did you do that though? Why did you? Didn't they? I think they stopped doing it at one point and then doing it again with the Wi-Fi module. Because it's one of those things with laptops or computers in general, but specifically laptops, is like nowadays the CPU speed is, or the age of the CPU, again, depending if you're not a gamer and blah 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 blah, it's not super important. Why people typically throw these away is when the connections gets too slow, or the Wi-Fi gets too slow. So the Ethernet NIC, let's say it's only 500 meg, this is a 1 gig, but let's say it's super old, and all of these was USB 2. Then people will throw it out because, or not throw it out, but refurbish it or buy a new one because of the connection. Because the CPU was probably not the bottleneck, and the RAM was probably not the bottleneck for a lot of them. I am like, this, because it's so old, could be a really, really good one to just take apart. Just like take shit out, because I was thinking about upgrading the battery to a more beefy one, because this looks like it's the original one, and they don't have many charges on it, which is like, again, really strange. Like, I don't think this has been used much, like other than as actually a desktop. Good old battery. I do like looking at laptops. If any of you have ever taken apart like a MacBook, maybe I should take apart my MacBook Air, because it probably needs a cleaning anyway inside. And you look at a MacBook versus this one here, it's so fucking night and day on how much attention to detail some companies put into their components versus others. And yes, that's what you also pay for with Apple. That's why it's so expensive, is that. So I had the same kind of experience with two car brands. One of them was like a everyday one was a little bit of a high-end one. And the higher end one was just so much easier to work on. So much, everything was logically placed. You didn't have to take apart half of the car and stuff like that. And the cheaper France-made one was just like, just to change a light bulb, you have to basically take it apart like a Lego set and put it back on again when you're done with it, and nothing made sense. And it was 10,000 different sizes, screws and wrenches. It's just like whatever they have laying around, it just, put together with no thought. Where if you went with the more upper brand, like what CEOs would buy and stuff like that, it was just like, oh, this makes sense. I don't need 10,000 different tool sizes and stuff like that. But as a customer, you don't see that, you don't experience that, because you typically are not the one doing this. But yeah. And again, this is one of these. Always look at the back plate to see if there's any specific way of putting it together. Typically with Lenovo, oh, this is the wrong way on. I like to do it front to back. So put this down first, and then this don't feel right. Oh yeah, it's. There you go. So this one I'm not going to screw in. Properly. I do like the feel of Lenovo laptops, especially with their carbon plastic or what the fuck. So this had premium support from Lenovo. When was this one? It's from Slovakia, apparently. Yeah, there's no I think it's 2008. I'm looking to see if I can find any writing that tells me where I can't read like Mandarin or what that is. Factory ID. It's funny because with Lenovo, if you look up like the factory ID with the serial number stuff, that you can see almost anything about it. Yeah, if you had like a some of them will have a what's it called? SIM card reader here. And you have to take that out before you take it apart if you have that. Or else you will break it. But they do like I'm not saying they look better than Apple's. Apple's are more clean, but they kind of have the same what is it called? The same stealth look. I do want an X1 Carbon though. That's like my dream computer. That's not a Mac computer. I'm actually low-key thinking about buying one used. Because I don't... Oh shit, there's a lot of this clues residue on. Because I don't need the latest CPU. And the X1 Carbon are so optimized with battery life that they are kind of worth buying still. Oh yeah, I remember why I bought the Dell now. I needed to test Dell because it was an Intel versus my AMD development laptop with render times. Because Intel typically have better render engines, the same with Nvidia than AMD has. But it was kind of the same. It was kind of the same, and also there's like a 2 years difference where the AMD is 2 years newer than the Intel, so it made up for it in that way, or however you will put it together. Some more proprietary software. Hey Scooby, how are you? I was thinking about leaving, but yeah, it is. Well, we could look at some proprietary software. I just need to... So all of these cables here, just most of them are either to connect laptops so they get power, or it's testing. So this one... So this is HDMI with Ethernet, okay. I think this one goes to my testing screen, and this one goes to my capture card. Why are they using such a high quality HDMI cable though? Oh, tell me more about your new job. That's fucking amazing, or I hope it's amazing. Tell me more. And I will connect, not this one, but I can connect my development laptop. System engineer. Oh god. How much AI have they thrown into you now? Just give me a... Oh, I just hit the boop. Give me a second. You can look at this while I'm fucking around. Actually, no AI. Okay, now I really want to know more. was a 100% Windows engineer. Are they also going away from Windows? Oh, there it is. But like, I don't understand it. Like, software engineer, like, engineering software is not really that fucking different from OS to OS. Like, it's the same problem solving. You're just using different architecture and programming languages. In some cases, you are not even doing that. Oh, he didn't want to. Okay, so that I can understand. That makes sense then. If he didn't want to. But why would you not want to do, like, it should not matter what operating system you fuck around with. Like, let's be honest here. Like, as long as you're getting paid. Like, if I got paid on fucking working on Plan 9, you know, why is this not popping up? Did I? Oh, I didn't plug it correctly in. That's why I'm fucking stupid. What the fuck am I? Caption, there you go. My AI prompt. My Synology. What is this? There's something I got from Stack Overflow. Oh, monitor details. Oh, this is a fun one. I'm making a conky kind of thing for Windows. I found another way of doing it then. Also, don't think, yeah, this one didn't work. That's why I didn't use PowerShell. It's called Stats for Nerds. It's basically just a stat window for Windows. So it will check your current active network device, some useful shortcuts, some monitor information, and it will take all the monitor information you want. Your main disk drive, I want to make it so you can select and see also what's left. Your core clock speed and how much RAM you have, your graphic card information. I'm thinking maybe also get information about current clock speed and stuff like that. I don't know. It's not on GitHub yet. And this is the so this is a Ryzen CPU, but this is what AMD called this CPU. That's why I found it really funny to use this one. So it's AMD 64 family 25 module 68 stepping 1 authentic AMD. Why I call it stats for nerds, because I'm showcasing a lot of nerdy stuff that most people not have. And you can minimize the ones you don't want, and you can maximize them to save space. I'm thinking about putting a clock app into it and a weather app, but I don't know. Down here in the bottom, it will have either the clock or the weather that you then set via via JSON file or something. But the thing with weather apps is that, and I'm going to sound like a pretentious motherfucker, but all the good ones require you to make an account and use an API key. Most hobbyists and so-called nerds have no idea how to get an API key. So I have to use a public one, but they only refresh like once or twice a day, or they don't get it, they only works in America, and it's just, I hate weather apps without whatchamacallit, API keys. And I have seen too many Windows users, Linux users say that they know about computing, and when you tell them to go fetch an API key, they're like, huh? What is an API key? Why do I need to sign into an account to this website? I don't want to do that. That's so you can get accurate weather or data or something. But why can't I just get it for free? Because a lot of weather apps, if you like it or not, they actually pay for you to use it. But that's why there's ads in them, or there's a premium version. It's because they pay up front in hope you want more advanced features. Because most weather services, they require you to pay to use them. And none of these code base, they need cleaning up, they need refactoring, so they are more like scalable. The other one I'm working on this little information is like a 1 day, 2 day project, because I took a break from this one. I'm making a streaming tool. If it takes a little bit of time to start up. And it's a mixture between this, and then it will have like an overlay function in here also where you can take off like notifications, donations, super chats and whatnot. And right now you can only test it. So if I click test, I need to have a browser with the overlay open so you can see that. Music services. So you just log in via the web page. I'm actually using a slimmed down version of this right now, so the music is coming from Spotify. It's just so you have everything in one place. Channel information, so general channel information about if you don't pay for it, you are the product basically. And here it will start. So right now I could actually, if I click this one here, it should go to my chat via my oh shit, it's the API key that's problem with. But over here I want, so you can test widgets, you can see moderators in chat, so if they have been active in chat or not. So if a moderator type just one thing in chat, I can see if they've been in chat or not, and other tools I want to implement over here. But working with Google API it's not bad because it's well documented, but there's a lot of limitations you have to like dance around. But yeah, I'm slowly building up on this. But I made that other tool because I just needed something to do on the side. Because I need to go in and work on what is it called? gRPC or something like that, which is a information stream protocol that YouTube uses for chat. So everything you see in chat on YouTube have access to that protocol, where you can go in and you can fetch anything you see on YouTube chat basically. And I want to be it like so. Basically, you only add one overlay to your OBS or whatever you use. And then that tool can then add or set things away from it. So the things you see now, like temperature and stuff like that, is already on it in local time. But also want like I have a whole like setup I'm working on doing where it's a little bit like gamerized. So donations, super chats give power to a power core, and for each live stream you can, people, it would do different things depending on what you're doing, basically, while also displaying system information and stuff. So it's a little bit like you're looking at a console or something like that. But I only want you to add one, or want myself to add one, basically offline website. It's so done via web. Because I'm tired of that you have to sign up to these 10,000 different services to have your a proper overlay. And for get information about your stream and whatnot. So that's what this is about. But that means also I have to learn some fucking TypeScript, and oh, I hate that shit. But yeah, well, that's what we have AI for, I guess. But yeah, I just needed a break because I was tired of fucking around with Google APIs and figuring out ways of getting not unlimited, but the right and proper way of not cheating YouTube so they ban you, but also get the most out of your calls. And dealing with API limits is so fucking irritating, to be honest. But it is what it is. So it's basically like if you take Streamlabs, all the good parts from that, and Stream Elements and all the good parts from that, and then put it together, and it's all on your end. You own everything. You don't, because with Streamlabs and Stream Elements, what if they go under tomorrow? What if they say like, well, to get notifications, you now have to pay us? And Streamlabs, even though I use it, they have a lot of limitations that you have to pay for to get. That makes no sense to me that you have to pay for. And I like that you own, like, everything is on your end. You don't have to sign on to this website and that website. That, I think, could be a feature that you will pay for if it gets more used. But I just, like, I miss the old day of streaming where just starting to stream was like a one program thing. And you kind of can do that with Streamlabs nowadays, but like I said, you easily run out of the free shit you can do. Or your stream would look like anyone else's. Say you are in 100% control of how your stream looks. It's not going to be boilerplate templates you use and stuff like that. But it also means that you may need to know a little bit, not know, but do a little bit of extra things yourself. So it requires you to have like a YouTube API key, for example. So that means you have to go on to Google Consoles, make a project, and get an API key. And this is how all the big ones do anyway. Because all the big streamers and YouTubers, they pay someone on Fiverr or a moderator to do all of this for them. And then if the moderator gets pissed off, they don't know how, they are lost. If the fan don't do it for free anymore, or the moderator get pissed or just not interested anymore, they don't know what to do. Or if it's someone on Fiverr, they have to pay them to fix the thing and stuff like that. Here you are in control. And it should perfectly be like you don't need to learn to code to use it, but you still need to apply yourself in like setting the program up like we did back in day with OBS. So it's not going to handle the streaming part, that would be OBS. It's only for overlay information, like a stream interaction. Because when you have access to the chat stream, you can do almost anything you want. Like, of course, within the TOS. But you can, like, let's say every time Scooby comes in, it can prompt a message. The first time he types, it can prompt a sound bite and any animation. It can because you are in control of the widgets and the software, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Or you can get someone that knows how to do on the widget side TypeScript. You can just say to them, build with this and plug that in. And the really good part of this is, or the fun part is that this is running a SQLite server in the backend. So when this program starts up, it's starting up basically. It's basically doing a little bit what Electron app is doing. It's running or Node.js, sorry, it's doing on your computer. It's starting up a server that is hosting a database file. No, that's not it. Where the fuck did I put it? Oh no, that's right. This is one thing we have to deal with YouTube. You can't store data you get from YouTube for more than 30 days. So when this program starts up, it makes a database file in the root folder of the program. That's also going to be customizable where that is. And it's going to auto-delete it. It's going to move it into a backup folder. And then I need to make a service that auto-delete it after 30 days. But for now, that stores subscriber, follower, super chat data. But basically, you can make it store anything you want. How many times someone types in chat? Have they been banned before? Average word count, anything you can think of, you can store in that for 30 days. Which again can be used for some user interaction and fun things and stuff like that. Because you have basically access to an SQL database. So this is running a light SQL database. And here's the fun thing. This is the best fucking thing about it. It uses less resources running everything full tilt than Streamlabs does on just booting up. Because Streamlabs is Electron or VE-Write or what is like. It's basically a web browser in a web browser in a web browser in a web browser. It's so fucking stupid. I hate it. I hate Electron apps. They're so inefficient. It's not even funny to think about. And everything has to be done backwards and upwards. And because this is in C#, you have way easier access to super low level shit if you need that. Like you can get better acceleration, GPU acceleration faster. You can get access to your hardware faster if you need that, streaming data fast, and blah 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 blah. So it's using like a tenth or something like that, or maybe half of what Stream Element does. And you have way more control, and you can do anything you want with it. That's the idea anyway. And I want it to be like, if you want some different like you want some different overlay stuff happened, you just make someone to make that, and you plop it in a folder, and you can the program see what files are in that folder, and then you can edit it and stuff like that. So maybe have like a simple markup editor or something like that in it. But this is a bigger project. Like I said, the other one is like a 1-2 day project I just made for fun. This one here is like, right now I'm using the first iteration of it for my music control and the YouTube dashboard. So I see the chat and dashboard in this tools version, whatever, 0.0.1. And this is like 0.0.2. Because the overlays you see right now on stream, like the weather and stuff, that is handled on its own. It's just a web page that is posted in. But it's on my computer. But yeah, it's a fun little a fun project. But there's a lot of cleaning that needs to be done. Putting things into their right places, and I typically do that at the end of version 1. So first I make a proof of concept. Then I make everything I want, like the minimum things I want to work, I make them work. So the proof of concept, is this doable? Can we do it? Does it make sense? Yes. What is the basic features you want for V1? I make those and make sure they work and do what I want them to do. And then right before V1 gets released, in quotes, I do like cleaning up and modularizing it and stuff like that. And probably not the best way, probably not the fastest way of doing it, but it's what works on my brain and what's worked the best for me. It also, I feel, it saves me time instead of doing everything, modularizing everything and writing a shit ton of code to just then refactor everything a week later. I feel I write less code this way, but it's also less organized and a little bit more chaotic. And it's also typically when I reach version 1, or what you will call it, I GitHub the shit. After it's getting sanitized and, unnecessary comments are removed, unnecessary code leftovers are removed, when things are getting optimized and stuff like that. Then I plop it on GitHub. And with this one here, I will probably make proprietary. The other one, Stats for Nerds, is probably just going to be BSD licensed, because it's the thing with code is that nothing you see here is new. Everyone has done this before. There are code like this out there. It's just how you do it that's different from how anyone else do it. And what services versus non-services, what philosophies are you going to use for it? But writing a line of code, it's not your unique line of code. Maybe the way what you're calling the function or calling the variable is unique to you, but the programming languages of the world only give you a certain amount of ways of skinning a cat. So you are going to skin the cat exactly the same way as anyone else. It's just the structure of it, the approach, the where do you put your checks, where do you put your what the fuck is it called? Backups, where do you put your how do you handle your data? How do you structure your front end? That's unique to you. To some degree, the color scheme that you prefer, the layout you prefer, is unique to you. So that's not why you will proprietary a software. So let's say just in printing something to the terminal, everyone does it the same way in C# or Python or whatever you're using. It's the same command. That's not why proprietary. It's like, if you do a certain amount of optimizations that make it maybe faster than someone else's code, you figure out that it's better to use, let's say you're making a link, it's better to use combined path or something like that than a string. And you figured out if you do it in a certain way, you optimize it like tenfold. That's what you will proprietary. But doing a combined string, everyone knows, like, it's baked into the programming language. Everyone knows how to do it if they look at the programming language. Or if you're utilizing the programming language in ways most people are not doing it, that's why you would proprietary. It's not because like print hello world is unique to you. I see a lot of people think that people proprietary with their software because of the code. No, it's the approach and what they're doing with the code. They're doing it. Like, they're using two different services in a unique way. That's why you will proprietary. Or they figured out that if they build their own SQLite server and optimize it in this way, it's way more efficient than SQLite default is. That's why you will proprietary. But doing a simple where is it? Like this stuff here. This is how you initialize dark theme with a plugin. You need this if you're using it's called Darknet. It's a plugin to get the title bar black with VPF. This is how you do. You cannot do this in any other way. This is how you do it. Then you just hear like this theme .dark or .white, or you can make it change. Like you can have a config file where it reads what flag you're setting. But this is how you do it. That's it. And this is copied directly from the developer of Darknet. This is how they tell you to do it. So this is not why you're proprietary. It is like, let's say Scooby or Lamer figure out how to use Darknet in a specific way that makes it do more than the developer has done, or use it in a unique way that almost nobody else is using it. That's why you will proprietary it. Not because of what's written on the screen here. Because if Scooby wants to do the same, this is the only way he can do it. Or one of the few ways he can do it. So my code and his code will look exactly the same. And you don't even need to see the code, because if he boots up the program and he sees, oh, you have a dark bar up here, when it wants to recompile here. Oh, you have a dark title bar here. Oh, I'm an experienced .NET developer. I know that's because you're using Darknet library. He don't even need to see the code to give me the same example. He don't even need to see the code to mimic this here, these characteristic here. Because if he's a seasoned C# developer, he knows that's done in a style sheet. And you can get it to do anything in a style sheet, which is here. So it will look almost identical to mine. Maybe less commenting and more clean and structured, but almost identical. And you don't need to see the code to know that. That the yellow border is a border with yellow coloring, and he can get the color from a color picker, and he can kind of guess the border radius, that in this case is... What the fuck is the border radius? Corner radius is 4. No, that's not what I'm building, but I'm just explaining why people would proprietary software. What I'm building is again, if you think about Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and all these sites you log on to get a stream up and going, put them together into one tool where all the things you need is unique to you, it's done on your end, you don't host anything in the cloud, so you own everything. And OBS is the streaming side of it, so it don't stream, but it's a stream management tool. I think is the right word to say it. And it's more efficient than Streamlabs. It takes already less than 50% of the resources. But I am utilizing API, and I'm utilizing SQLite and a lot of other things, so it can become more powerful if that's what we want to. But I'm just explaining why when people hear proprietary software, they think that it's this thing here, people proprietary. You know. No, if you want to have this is a text block with a foreground that's Azure and a font size that's 12. This is how you do it. You cannot do it in any other way. So the code, like how you write the code, is not unique. It's what you do with it that's unique, and how you approach it, and how you set it up, and how you optimize it. That's unique. And that's why you would proprietary something. So my hope is that with my stream management tool is that I can make streamers less reliable on 5, 10 third-party people. If that's what they don't want to do, because that's just 10, 15 other sites that could go under or break. And also make it somewhat easy for them to set up and run. And instead of having, again, because if you're using 10 or 3 or 4 or 5 different sites, you have 10 or 4 or 5 different dashboards you need to get, you know. You have a dashboard for your notifications, you have a dashboard for your streaming, so like, put all of that into one place. And then I know you can customize widgets, but not as much as if you know how to code. And I kind of want to see if I can make widgets so customizable that it almost feels like you're coding. Like you could do whatever you want with them. Because a lot of these widgets that you see on Streamlabs and all these things, stream elements, there's a lot of limitations to them because, well, if you don't have direct access to the code, you can't do some things. But here you have direct access to the code. But that don't mean you have to fuck around with the code, but that means we can do more with the code. So why don't Linux users use the same argument with proprietary hardware? I don't think most of them are smart enough to make the most out of it. That's the problem with all of this, is that knowing how to do this is basic knowledge when it comes to C#. If you want to theme a VPF program, this is basic fucking like you have only programmed in VPF C# for like 6 months and you can reproduce the look and feel that I have here. Really fucking easy. Without seeing the code. Just seeing the program. But the so-called smart people don't know that. The people that actually know what they are talking about knows that. So why they don't make that argument is that they think that because you can see this, it makes them smarter than anyone else. And everyone should be able to see this because it makes me smarter than anyone else that I can see the source code. And I kind of know what target type means because it's self-explanatory. But using it in a creative way, or using it in a way to build something other people have never built before, that's what takes an engineer, designer, an artist from someone that sits at the dentist office waiting and drawing dicks on today's newspaper. Everyone can draw dicks on newspapers, but that don't make you an artist. Everyone can look at source code, that don't make you a developer or smart enough to even be in the same conversation as software engineering or development. But it makes you feel like it because, I can see the source code, and because I listen to some of these so-called smart people on the internet, I know what print hello world means. It was too much super bad. And that's the problem we have with the internet nowadays, is that there's so many people that learn the bare minimum so they feel smart. It's an egotistical thing, so to speak. It's a little bit of the same problem when you think about gaming, why a lot of games sucks lately. It's because the decision makers in gaming that comes in, they know just enough to understand gaming on a somewhat better level than the average Joe. But they don't understand enough that they actually can make good games. So it becomes gaming by committee. You know, okay, they look at a popular game and they think the popular games are popular because there's X, Y, and Z elements in them. And then they copy X, Y, and Z element. You don't think about that it could be because of the shooting mechanics or the story or the way lobbying is set up. They just look at what does it has in common with other popular games in this genre. And then they copy that over. That's why Blizzard is fucking up so much lately also. Now that we're listening to Blizzard song. And it's the same with a lot of Linux users or open source advocate, is that they get a glimpse into a world they don't understand, but think they do because they get a glimpse of it. I have talked to theoretic physicists before, and quantum mechanics and stuff like that. So I got a glimpse into it. That don't make me a fucking expert or knowledgeable in any way, shape, or form about. I may know a little bit more about it than the average person, but that's about it. You know. But people, they think that they watch one Lex Fridman podcast or Joe Rogan podcast, and now they're an expert. And that's why Linux is so, what is the word, enticing for people like that, because it gives a glimpse into something that most people don't know much about. So that makes you special. You get a glimpse into something that's on the surface look technical, but really it's not. You just have to think differently. So that makes you unique and special in a lot of people's eyes, or they know something others don't. And that's all they need. They are happy now. Because they can mention something. I keep using these like IPA pros, like the craft beer pros that only drinks it until it gets bought up by some big name brand and nothing changed, but they can taste the change in the beer. The beer don't taste the same anymore. It's exactly the same beer. Nothing has changed. It's just owned, or they have a distribution deal with a bigger company. A lot of people, and that's also why they get so defensive about those things, is because it becomes their identity. I am this brand enjoyer, this unique craft beer enjoyer. This is what makes me interesting. And that's why they cannot stand when people take that away from them. So if a lot of these, like the proprietary or open source advocates on the internet, if they talk with a real software engineer, developer, they will get their hand or their ass handed to them in 5 seconds. So they don't do that. They will talk with other people on their level, because it's their identity that I'm a FOSS advocate. And then they figure out that if they talk to a real software engineer, they figure out they don't know anything. Then their whole identity is gone. Yeah, the AI thing, you just need to wait till the bubble bursts 100%. It's one of those things with AI, you just have to sit and wait. Sit and wait. Sit and wait. Because it's one of those things that it looks magical when you don't know what the fuck is going on. And most of the people that use AI don't know what the fuck is going on because they don't want to really learn it. And when they learn what's going on, and if they really learn what's going on, they figure out how not good it is. They've already invested thousands of dollars into it. So it becomes this kind of, well, I'm protecting my investment kind of thing, if that makes sense. No, but here's the thing. Coding languages purists, development philosophies purists, OS purists, almost all of them do not have a professional working knowledge in that field. They are all hobbyists. Most of them. There are outliers, there are exceptions to the rule, but most OS purists are not software professionals, they're not IT professionals. Most coding languages purists are just hobbyists. They just do like small little programs, like what I'm doing here and there. But they are the ones that have the most time to be loud on the internet. So those are the ones we see and hear the most on the internet. I've met fans of a programming language and fans of an operating system that was professionals. But they still used the best tool for the job, or they still took jobs that used what they didn't like that much because it paid better and were more interesting on an intellectual level. Just like mechanics, there are mechanics that are fans of certain car brands and hate other car brands, but work on that car brand, will still work on that car. Don't mind other people buying and driving the car that they hate. The only one that will never do that are people that are not mechanics, because they don't really understand what they're doing. Also, mechanics rarely make, car brands or tools their identity, hobbyists do. And to some degree, it's should I boot up my tablet? Give me a second. I have so much fucking what are they called? Cardboard boxes laying around. What the fuck is this music? Let's go back to the video. There you go. Oh. But there's a reason why people like that are doing that. And it comes down to, I actually kind of hate talking about this because it's a little bit sad. Where the display capture, is that the one? There you go. Yeah, Alliance don't bash Linux like that at all. No. Where are my pen? Where are you, my little pen? There you are. Oh. It's so much better when my keyboard is not on my... So... Let's just call them pure and then pros. For the purists, let's say the OS or FOSS. This here becomes the most interesting thing about them. Think about that, my friend. Think about that. When you go on to a X social media platform and you read someone's, they have the profile pics and they will have a bio here. It's a really, really fun and interesting thing, because in this thing here, they will tell you what they want you to know. So that's also what's most important to them. So if someone wants to know that they feel in their life that the most important thing about them is being a dad, it will be here. If it's that they're a Linux user, it will also be there. If they are fucking different kind of people and stuff like that, that will be there. You typically see people on social media telling them or telling people what is most important about them. If it's a private one, if it's like a streamers or like a company, they will of course tell you something about their business in quote, but they will also put personal stuff in there sometimes. And if you look at the purists, OS purists and stuff like that, you don't see Linus say that on his social media platform. He may say that he's the inventor of the Linux kernel, But he don't say that he's a Fedora user, which is the OS that he uses. He may say that he likes diving. So for these people, this is what they care about. This is what makes them them. This is what makes them interesting. The pros may be their work. So they will be talking about projects they have worked on, companies they have worked for. So ex-Google employee, blah, blah, blah. That's what makes them interesting. But if what is the most important in your life is Linux user or Nike fan, you don't have much interesting stuff in your life when you think about it. If you want everyone to know that you talk to, that you like Air Jordans, not super interesting. It's an interesting hobby. A lot of people like those shoes and sneakers and general and stuff like that. But if that's what's defining you, not dad, husband, wife, sister, charitable worker, but no, I'm a FOSS advocate, I'm a Linux advocate. Well, if someone like you and me come in and tell them that you don't really know what you're talking about, and what you think it really is not that, and what you think it does, it don't really do, you are taking that identity away from them. Now they are just, yeah, who are we again? Who am I? That's why when I read people's biases, you know, on their profile, it determines a lot if I'm talking to them or not. The same with their usernames. If it's like Linux user 25, there's a high chance I'm not going to interact with them whatsoever. Or pro gamer boss. There's a high chance I'm not going to talk to them. Because if you're pro gamer, you don't need to tell anyone you're pro gamer. If you're something big in the Linux community, you don't need to tell anyone that. Linus Torvalds don't need to tell anyone who he is. I hope this makes sense. People are really, really, really good at telling you who they are from their usernames, their bios, and stuff like that. It's almost a superpower if you think about it like that, because you have a limited amount of space here to tell something about you that makes you interesting to other people. Unless it was for like job hunting or something like that, putting C# developer or Python or Go. Who the fuck cares about I can code in those languages? Who gives a fuck? If it was for my YouTube channel or live stream, I would put that in there, YouTube or live stream, blah blah blah. But if it was like I would not on my personal fucking Facebook say Linux user, streamer, YouTuber, because they don't give a fuck about that. And if that's the only thing that makes me interesting to them, they will not talk to me anyway. But other people, that's the only thing that defines them. I would probably put live stream on YouTube if I was making money off it. Let's say I was like, my living was being a live stream or YouTuber, I would probably put it on there. But maybe down in the lowest section. So if you really, really want to know what people is about, just look at their profile. On here, go to their YouTube page and see what they type, even if they don't upload. Look at their username. It's people want to know who they are. People want to be interesting to other people. So they tend to go with the most interesting thing about them. And if you are a Linux user or a FOSS advocate, it's the only interesting thing about you. you don't have much in your life. If you work as a developer, let's say you work for a company and your job is to be a development advocate, then you put it in your bio that I'm a development advocate for this company related to FOSS. Yeah, it was his daughter told him that they were more they knew who he was from doing Git than Linux, more than Linux, and she was doing some computer engineering shit. And he also say he gets stopped more on the street, and people talk to him more about him doing Git than Linux. They want to talk more about Git than Linux, basically. But yeah, like also let's do let's get let's do something funny. When you say average Linux user, what do you think? Versus user or average Mac user or average mechanic. What is the stereotypical thing about a Linux user versus the stereotypical thing about a gym user, a Mac user, or a mechanic, or painter, or artist? Most of the things you would put in here would be negative. There would be non-social favorable traits. Your average gym user have a better reputation than the average Linux user. Your average Mac user, Windows user have better reputation than the average Linux user. Your average mechanic, carpenter, plumber, gamer would have a better reputation than your average Linux user. So if you go at stereotypes, they are bad, but stereotypes exist for a reason. Okay? So if you look at the average Linux user and the traits that they have, it's not difficult to see why they are OS fanatic or FOSS fanatic, because it's exactly the only interesting thing about them. It is the most interesting thing about them. If they were standing in a flock of 20 people and they could not talk about Linux, they could not talk about FOSS or hating proprietary software, they would be standing over here, and all of the rest, they would be standing over here having a really good time. Because the average Linux user, the average FOSS advocate, can only talk about Linux and FOSS. And it's sad. Like, it is sad when you think about, like, imagine that the only thing you have going for you in your life is that you are in a battle, internal demonized battle against Microsoft and proprietary software. And you're fighting other outcasts that think like you. Even metal fans have more social acceptance and social skills in a lot of cases than the average Linux user has. And the fun thing is, this used to be me. That's why I know it. I used to be that person. I used to be the one that could only talk about FOSS and Linux and hate Microsoft and Oracle and proprietary software. Until I was like, why are all of these over here so happy at parties and social gathering? And I'm just standing over here with a few people that felt sorry for me. Or every time someone has to be picked at work-related shit, I was the last one because someone felt sorry for me. Well, Oracle is a proprietary company, so they hate Oracle. Sorry. Until I realized why the majority of these people here did not want to engage with me was because the only thing I could talk about was this. I could not play along their drinking games. I could not play games with them. I could, even, no matter what we did, I will always refer back to OS fanatic, Frost fanatic conversations. I will start judging them for the things they used on their computer and stuff like that. Nobody wants to talk to that person when they're having a beer or going to a party. But most Linux users, they don't want to do that, and specifically nowadays, because if these people here don't want them, well, there's other of these over here. Not that many, but there's others, so they just migrate over here. And then they live in a bubble where they only hear those things. So this bubble can be 100 people. This over here could be 1,000 plus and expanding all the time. But the internet, I keep saying this, the internet has made it perfectly easy and fine for like-minded people to find like-minded people. There's nothing more dangerous than yes men. Nothing more dangerous than being associated with people that agree with you 100%. And this is a big problem that CEOs falls into, because CEOs will only hire yes men that agrees with them 100%. And then when they fuck up, there's no company anymore. And they're like, what went wrong? Where did we, what happened? Well, you only hired managers that agreed with you. You only hired employees that did not challenge your viewpoint. So when a new competitor came into the market, or you did a stupid fucking thing, you ruined your company. And that's when a lot of CEOs realized that this is actually bad. Having a team, a dev team, they cannot all 100% agree, because then you don't have a dev team, you have an echo chamber. And that's bad, because nobody's saying, could we do this better? Why are we not doing it this way? What about that over there? What about this issue? If the lead dev says something and everyone, yes sir, yes ma'am, yes, yep. It will work. It will probably be joyful for either a long or short period of time, but at some point, the person that should have said, we are feeding everything we owe and know to the AI, should we not think about that? And then Microsoft steals your secrets, you know, or we forgot to secure this bucket of information, should we not think about that? If everyone is afraid of challenging the status quo, or going against the yes men. And the internet has never made it more easy for other people, like fanatics, Windows fanatics, Linux fanatics, Mac fanatics, Frost fanatics. Why should I listen to someone that disagree with me on 2 or 3 points, but otherwise are great people, when I can find other people that may not be great people, but they agree with me 100%. But if you go and talk with people that agree with you 100%, that's an ego boost. Who gives a fuck if they fuck their sister's wife or something, you know, or steal from the company treasure or something like that? They agree with me. People love to find people they agree with them. Cloud AI is not that good. No, there's no AI that are good. They are all equally bad. Just on, some are better at one thing where they then are bad in another thing that another AI is good at, but it's then bad at the 2 other things. It's just, it's a more optimized search engine. It's a better search engine. That's all it fucking is. It's a search engine and vocabulary or Wikipedia. That's all it is. It's even the CEO for OpenAI have now said that it, or by mistake said that AI didn't work. Claude has now said that we need to stop AI research because we don't really know what the fuck is going on, and they're afraid of losing control of it. It's super useful in some instances, but it's even developers that are critical to some degree are fooled about with AI. It's fun, it's interesting, it's an amazing tool for certain things. Look at the whole PewDiePie thing. He has no idea what that fucking thing has, what that code entails. It could like have fucking direct access to a bank account without him knowing. That's the problem with it. That's the danger with AI. It's just it's the same with people. Some prefer to talk with Claude than they do, and some prefer Gemini with the way that they present data. Like some prefer Google versus Bing. Some prefer Bing for images. Some prefer DuckDuckGo because of the way they present you data. It's there was someone that used AI not long ago, like a week or so ago, to give a sales proposal to a customer, and the AI manufactured 3 different products that didn't even exist. And nobody in the company found out until the customer actually ordered the product that didn't exist. If it can't get stuff like that right, it can't even spell, I think, is it strawberry? I don't know how many E's that are in it. It can spell strawberry, but it can't tell you how many E's are in it. That is fundamental why you should never trust AI. Because if you do one without the other, it's mind-boggling luck that you can do one over the other. It means that you're just regurgitating, like Linux users are doing, a script. You're just formulating it in a way that looks like it's not a script. It has been taught and reaffirmed long enough that that's how you spell strawberry, but not reaffirmed and trained enough that it can actually tell you how many E's that's in it. That's a problem. Even a kid can tell you how many E's there are in strawberry because they need to know that before they can spell it. Because that's fundamental knowledge about what they are spelling. AI lacks fundamental knowledge. And it's going to kick everyone's ass. So instead of being so negative, this is how we should use AI. Let me clear this shit out. So, you have Lego bricks. That's what build a house. What people are doing now is they tell the AI, build me a house out of Lego. So the AI will build a house out of Lego. It looks like a house, it functions as a house, we don't know how structured sound it is, we don't, like, one of the windows could be falling out tomorrow or something like that. The way you should use AI is, I want to build a house. AI, build me a door. AI, build me a window. AI, build me a wall. And then it's your job to make sure all of these things fits together. Because when you take the door and put it in the wall, you are also checking if the door is built correctly or the wall is built correctly. If you take the window and put it in the wall with the door, you are also checking. Because you have to see if it fits together, you know. So instead of building solutions with AI, you should build components and then you as the engineer is the one putting them together like Lego bricks. Because when you think about it, to be a software engineer, like building software or architect or what you will call it, you don't need to really know a for loop. It helps. It also helps you check the code and stuff like that. But you are the one that makes the idea in a reality. And it also becomes super more easier for the AI because it's more simple to say, build me a door with 3 locks that is secure, made out of metal. Imagine all of the variables that goes into this house up here to make sure that you build the right house, versus just the variables that goes into that you need to take aware of to just build the door, or the door frame, or the door knob. Make me a door knob with a lock in it that is as unbreachable as possible, with a security, whatever you put in. That's way easier because it's not, you're not building the whole thing. You're just building this one thing. That's how I use AI. That's how I think everyone should use AI. Use it again. Like, let's say trip to US. Plan a trip to the United States. No. What would be the top 5 places to visit in the US in spring? You ask it that. Then you narrow it down with your wife or significant other. Let's say we take Utah. Best places to visit in Utah. Ask the AI about that. Best hotels in that area. Best affordable restaurants. Then you have all of these little pieces, boxes. You want to go to Utah. You want to visit this hotel. These are the best places to eat. And then you connect all the dots. Because when you're connecting the dots, you kind of check if this is okay, if this is okay, if this is okay. Oh, I said I was in Utah, in this city, at this time, but they are closed. That's when you figure that one out. And this is where every time I see someone talk about AI, they talk about this up here. And then down the line, they have to rehire developers. They figure out it's not secure, stable. It's not scalable. The person that built it leave. And nobody knows what the fucking code does anymore because they were not the one prompting it. So they didn't know what he was asking for. So therefore, they have no idea. It's like getting... The only difference from making AI write code for you or getting someone in fucking on Fiverr to do it for you is that you're closer to the AI than the person on Fiverr. You might, like, if you write code, you might as well just let some third party do it that you don't know anything about. But because it's so accessible and so fast and easy to just say, build me the house, why do we need the bricks then? Forget about the bricks. Fuck the bricks. When I can say just build the house and it seems to be working. Until you need to extend the house. You need to move the door. Security regulations comes into play. So the smaller the component AI has to deal with, the better chances of success you have. This one up here could be like, let's make a method that returns a Boolean yes or no. That's what a Boolean true or false. If I can ping Google 5 times. That's what you can ask say to AI in Python. Make a class or a method that pings Google 5 times and return a Boolean. That would be perfect for that. Because it's so little code and you still have to understand the code to use it, that if it fucks up or hallucinate, you will catch it. Because you have to test it. You don't ask the AI to test it, you test it. And if it don't work, you can say, oh, it fucked up there. Or you gave the AI, this is the warning. I don't know what it understands. It will tell you what the warning is. And it will even sometimes tell you what to fix. Or you will then say, oh, I know what to fix then. That also means that if you need to expand on it, you know how to expand on it. Because if you tell the AI to build this house, and you then tell it to expand it, it has no idea what this house is. It's totally new for it, even though it built it. So it has no idea how to expand on it, or it thinks it does, but it don't know because context. That's why people that use AI for building and AI for testing, so they tell the AI to build something, it tests it, it tells the person that something is wrong, they tell the AI to fix it, and then the AI says it's wrong again. So you go into this loop of the AI build it, the AI test it, it tells the human it's wrong, the human tells the AI to fix it, it fixes it, the AI says it's wrong again. Even if they're using, let's say, Cloud for this and Gemini for that. This happens so many fucking times. And that's the danger with it. The danger with AI is not AI itself, it's how people use it. It's like someone learned to drive for the first time and now everyone wants to be a Formula 1 driver. They think they can handle it, and it may go well on a straight line. They don't crash into the fucking wall on a straight line and a really, really, really forgiving curve. So they think that they have it handled now. And it's really dangerous. It's like compared to like proprietary software and FOSS and all of that like owning your own data. This AI is the most dangerous thing that's going on right now. Not because it takes data, not because it's proprietary. It's the maybe unrepairable damage that it's doing to infrastructure, society, control systems that will become unrepairable if you're not careful enough, that will become unmaintainable. We all have heard that story that there's like a computer from the 80s running in a server room in the background. Nobody touched it because it has working ever since Bob fixed it 10 years ago. We don't know what it's doing. We don't know if it's actually doing anything, but it's running, and we don't hear any complaints, so don't touch it. We could have a lot of infrastructure that's super important, that is vibe coded, that would be like that. And it may run for 10, 15 years, but one day it will break. Or someone will drop over the line or fall over the line and rip the cord out. And then when you reboot, the AI code don't work anymore. And now we are all fucked. That's the problem that we're going into. Just like with people that did not want to document why a thing worked like 20, 40 years ago. As a system administrator, that's their equivalent to what AI is bringing to the software table right now, is that, oh, Bob set that computer up that we think it's handling payroll. So don't touch it. Just don't even look at it. Think about it as the devil himself. If you don't think about him, don't look at him, and nothing bad will happen. And it works for years, but at some point it will fail, and it will be, when that thing fails, it can end up and will end up be catastrophic. That's the problem we have. We are trusting it too much. We are using it too much. Because I'm not getting diabetes by eating all this sugar when you're like 15 years old, and then you're like 80 years old and you get diabetes. Because you ate like a pig when you were 15, 20, 30, and so on. We are building we are using AI to build a society where we have to pay the toll for doing it, for the easiness, the convenience, all of that we are going to pay for at some point. And the fear is that we just can't pay that. That it will collapse society, because we are so depending on those systems and what they're doing, and we can't fix them, and it will take decades to come up to the same stuff again. So all of the advances that we are making at the moment, at some point will go way back to like the 90s or the Stone Age, not the Stone Age, but like before AI or pre-AI. Because we are telling it to do something that only it knows how to do or knows about. And it has the memory of a fucking 1-year-old. I, I don't believe in all of this. That, oh, AI is going to eradicate workforce in 5 years. I don't believe in that shit. Or AI is going to replace the poor. I don't believe that shit. It will replace some jobs. It will make some jobs require less people. But what it will do is that it will fuck society up because we put blind trust into it. And not only that, we are investing so much money that we don't have into it in hope that it will make us those money back in the future and make society more money in the future. So we're basically lending money to hopefully build it up to a point where not only can we repay that money, but we can also benefit for the money that it makes on top of that. It's a lot of speculations and guesses. It's almost like you're putting whole society on one developer's shoulders and think he will live forever and never make a mistake. Or one mechanic, like Ford just says, Joe over there in the corner is the future of mechanic, unlimited funds, unlimited payroll. He will work here forever, and then one day he says, I'm not going, I found a better job at GM. I'm leaving, and he's documented nothing. It's all in his head, and they have invested billions of dollars into Joe because they thought that he would give them a return 10 for 15 years down the line, and he leave within 2 years. That's the viewpoint that I think almost nobody looks at with AI. They are so afraid of job replacement and what does this mean for the lower class or the upper class? This is going to be like Elon Musk owns everything and stuff. The biggest fear here is that we don't know what it does. And we can't ask it because it don't know what it does. But it does something. And it builds something that seems to be working. But it don't know a lot of times why it works. What if we never get to the point where it 100% knows by reading print hello world what print hello world actually does? It does, but you get the idea here. So the less complex it is what AI does, the more control you were in. I do believe that developers, engineers are going to do less code, like physical typing, but they're still engineering, they're still coming up with the ideas, they're still bug fixing, they're still testing, they're still making MVPs. It's just like all the intern jobs may be a little bit less. Because you don't need an intern to do like I'm too busy figuring this big problem out that cost us $10,000. Can you build a method that returns a Boolean depending on pinging Google 5 times? Instead of getting an intern to do that, you get the AI to build that building plot. So it is going to impact the job market, but not to the degree that I think everyone is. And another thing, I just replaced thermal paste on a fucking laptop. AI is not going to do that for you in many years. With all the advances we have in robotics, they can barely fucking put together a screwdriver. They can put cars on doors. Doors on cars, not cars on doors. But you don't see like a fully automated heart surgeon or a fully automated surgeon in general. You don't see a full automated plumber, mechanic. So a lot of those entry-level coding jobs, maybe they should look into fields where they, are more physical. But the whole, we don't know what it does, and we just hope it knows what it does, is a really bad thing. Banking had that problem with COBOL, I think it was in the 90s and early 2000s, where they found out that for the modern systems, it was just not enough anymore. But they were built on a lot of things that people built like in the 60s and 70s or early 80s. And they were like, oh, it works, don't fuck with it, just let it be. And when X and Y, Z developers went retirement or passed away, who gives a fuck, it still works. And at that point, nobody knew what the fuck was going on in that code. So the few people that knew COBOL in the 90s, early 2000s, and they want to make it over to Python/Java, That was the thing they were doing. They made millions of fucking dollars. Because they were doing kind of what they do with AI. Oh, let's just forget about it. It seems to be working. Bob did a really good job 20 years ago. Let's just leave it be. It's so dangerous, this out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Especially when it's done by an AI that is like, have the intelligence of a 5-year-old. I'm not be saying we have been handing a smoking gun, but we have been handed something that is it's not, I'm about to say way too powerful, but it's too powerful because we politely trust it. That's that's the part where it's like, but I can do all of these things. Yeah, but should you? We all have had friends or family members that's like, I can do this thing. Yeah, but you're 95 years old and had a hip replacement. Should you run a marathon? You know, we have just let off the fucking stop bricks, the guardrails from this shit, and that's the dangerous part. We have stopped and asking, should we? Just because we can, is it a good idea to do it? Until things get better or more advanced and we understand it better and it understands itself better. Like it gets context a little bit more. But we got so, and it is the Linux user syndrome a little bit when you think about it. A lot of normies got super fucking mesmerized by ChatGPT. They were like, holy fucking shit, I've never seen this before. If you have worked in the tech industry for one fucking bit for the last 30 years or more, ChatGPT was not that fucking groundbreaking. But a lot of normies, in quotes, now had access to a better chatbot, basically. Because every fucking engineer and developer knew that ChatGPT, like all those service chatbots and bots and service calls people make, is run by, to some degree, an AI. Done that for years, decades. Handling, like customer support and feedback. All of those automating systems that you talked to before we got to real human was either AI with a mixture of algorithms. So most developers knew that this is not something special. It's just they just took a support bot, basically gave it more access to more things and made it speak in a human language, better human language. If you shopped on some site and they had this little like, let me help you with your order, that can be a mixture between algorithm and AI and been that for decades. Just not as smart as ChatGPT, of course, because it was only trained on, let's say, Amazon's internal stock system or whatnot. So it was not that magical what ChatGPT did for people that actually, to some degree, understand what all of this is. But for a lot of people that have no fucking idea that AI been in gaming for 30, 40 years already, they were like, I can just ask AI like I would ask my friend instead of like figuring out how Google work. Because the people that like ChatGPT are the same people that can't Google to save their life. They don't know how to put together a sentence in Google search to find what they want. AI just made that really fucking faster because it understands spoken language better than a Google search bar does. That's the power of ChatGPT. It understands human language better than a search bar does. And you get it returned like you're actually having a conversation. So it's easy to fool people that don't really know what's going on. And it's not their fault. Not everyone should know everything, They have other interests and stuff like that. But then they boost up the hype. And then companies see that's money in it because a lot of stockholders that have a lot of money invest a lot of those money into companies. They don't know how the fuck they are run. They don't even understand the technology. They just know that if I invest into this company, I will get a good return. A lot of Microsoft investors and Tesla investors have no fucking idea what's going into having a company like Microsoft or Tesla. But because they have a lot of money, they also have a lot of say into it. So they're like, what about this AI hype we hear? So they have to bundle under and, do as they say, so to speak. And then we get a bubble, as we have right now, that is about to burst. But it's just funny how delusional management has become with this AI. And they don't, it's all about, and this is a general human thing, I call it the onion layer. And this has nothing to do with intelligence, it's a little bit of blissfulness. What was it? Not the unknown blissfulness. Most people that live in here, they may only see this part of the onion ring or this part. They rarely go out here and think, what happens here? If I fuck something up here, what happens here? Or what happens in this one here? But it's the longer out you get, it's where it becomes more and more important. Because the longer out if something that you fucks up here, fucks up here, maybe in X amount of time, it can become unrepairable, where here, it's still so close to home, so to speak, we can still fuck around with it, we can still do it. It also the thing that has the most impact on you as an individual. But up here, it has maybe societal impacts we can't fig around and stuff like that. And that, again, if you think about Linux users, you say to them, you're a FOSS fan, why do you like open source? Because proprietary software is bad. Why is proprietary software bad? Because I can't see the code. Okay, and you say to them, why do you want to see the code? Because then people can fix it. Yeah, but do you know how to fix it? No. So why is it important to see the code? Because then someone can fix it. This is where they then go into a loop. So they are about here or here. I like FOSS because proprietary software is bad. I can see the code, so someone can fix it. But what is nobody fixes? What's nobody sees? Someone can fix it because someone will see the code. They can't think further out than that. They don't want to. It becomes too complicated. So they go into this loop where it's just like, but someone will. But what if someone does in 30 years and it's too late? No, someone will. Because the longer out you get, you have to accommodate for more variables and stuff like that. And also, but it don't matter to me if it don't fix it today because I'm happy. But it happens to matter for society if they fix it today or not, because it means that X, Y, and Z can go under or be vulnerable and stuff like that. But you see a lot of when you have a debate with a lot of these FOSS and Linux advocates, they have like 3 or 4 or 5 talking points, and then they go back to the first one or the third one, and it just becomes a loop. And that's because they're only looking at it really short-sighted, just like with AI. People are really short-sighted with it right now. What does every investor say on Earth? If you want to make good, stable money, it don't happen tomorrow. It happens years down the line. You invest now to get the return in 20, 40, 50 years. Yes, you can do the whole day trading and be lucky with that, but if you want, like, food, some of the best food on Earth is not food that you make in 5 seconds. It's food that takes time. Like a good stew, like soul food and stuff like that. A lot of that shit stands in the fucking pot for hours. If you go to Asia and you look at like pho and broth and stuff, like they will take a chicken and have it for 10, 15, 20 hours in that fucking stew to just make the base of their fucking ramen. But most people cannot look at that. Like, that's also why a lot of people, to some degree, I have the same problem with saving up. They can't wait for the gratification. I can't save up if I want to, but sometimes I also get caught in, okay, I could wait 2 months and get this thing I really, really want. Or I could buy this thing that's almost what I want. And sometimes you buy the thing that you almost want because you can get it tomorrow instead of waiting 2 weeks or a month or 2 months, and then you end up buying the other thing anyway because you figure out that the one that you thought was good enough was not good enough anyway. And you end up spending more money and wasting time and stuff like that. Because we don't, the onion layer is a real thing. And again, this is my opinion, of course. And AI live in here. It makes it convenient for a lot of people. It makes it interesting for some other people. It makes some people a lot of money here now, but they may lose it all out here, or they may have to give it all back because, well, if those money get not put back into society, we won't have a society anymore. The same if Linux users realize that not everyone is looking at the code, barely anyone is looking at the code. And the ones looking at the code, most of them can't even fix it, even if they're developers. That makes this whole openness and fixing the code seems pointless. It's not pointless, it just only makes sense for a select few people. And that's the scary part about the FOSS movement, that they don't want to realize that it's not that important. It's only important for developers. Just like the whole AI bullshit is, you can still make a shit ton of money without AI. Don't think about that. Use it where it makes sense. And you can control what it does. So don't bite you in the ass in the future. Because then you're securing your future. Well, not even success, but existence in the field that you're in, whatever that may be. That's why you see people, what the fuck was it, Meta and Nvidia and stuff like that, they have token quotas they have to fill out. So they were just randomly using AI tokens to do random mindless shit to fill out a checkbox. You have to think about using an AI token equivalent to using electricity, water, blah, 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 blah. Making RAM more expensive, NVMEs more expensive. Just so you can check a box so your manager can go up to the boss and say, hey, look at how many tokens we used this month. There's so many companies that are getting caught in doing that right now. It's not even funny. And the fun thing is, it's not small companies. It's like Amazon, Meta, Oracle, Nvidia, AMD. It's all of the ones that has bet their companies on AI is succeeding in the future. And that tells you that, well, it is a bubble. There's not that the AI industry as it is right now is not sustainable. And if that collapses and you bet your whole company on AI being better in the future, you may have to wait 10 years. Do you still have a company in 10 years? Or 20 years? If AI don't advance as fast as you think it would? That's the question you should ask yourself when you're investing in AI. Can we fix this code in 10 years if AI don't get better than it is today? And how much would it cost us to fix what we're doing with AI in 10 years' time if it don't get better than it is today? It may do, but just like you have health insurance, car insurance, house insurance, you should also have insurance for the things you fucking do, especially if you want to be in business. You need to make sure that you're in business. And this whole thing where sometimes you have to take a gamble, that's true. But there's calculated risk, and then there's just like risk for the risk's sakes. And people that do the best in any field are the ones doing calculated risks. Like if you I heard some I want to bet the whole company's existence on AI, and asked them why. I think it's the future. That makes no fucking sense. Willing to bet a company just because you think it's the future. You can still be part of the future, not bet the fucking company. You can just hold your horses a little bit. Use and say, oh, it's not giving back the returns we get. Let's use it for where we're already using it and wait and see a little bit. But there's so many companies right now that have that mentality. That they believe that it will be the savior of everything and make them so much money in the future that they think that they're borrowing and putting into it now is worth it. And there's so many more indicators says that it's not. But because there's no money in saying that we should maybe wait a little bit, there's no money in it here now, is what I'm saying. then a lot of people will be like, uh-oh. But in general, I'm just AI fed up, to be honest. Also, like I only talk AI here and once in a while with someone on Discord. I am so I'm actually so fed. Like, I'm more fed up with talking AI than Linux users, to be honest. And I'm really tired of talking Linux users because it's like going into like a Manchester United fan and trying to explain to them that Manchester United sucks. They may do or may not. I don't know. I'm not a football guy. I don't fucking know. Or soccer guy, depending on where you are in the world. You can educate me about that. But they will stand behind them and think it's the best football organization, even if they've not won a fucking match in like 10 years. And you with AI people, you can't do anything about that with them, and the same with Linux users. The problem with AI people is that there's so much money invested into it that it can actually hurt society. If Linux becomes the main desktop OS or not, it will not matter one fucking bit for society. Other than now we're just using Linux and companies are making software that runs on Linux. That's it. And a few Linux companies are becoming the new Microsoft, becoming super monopolized, super fucking shareholder friendly, and all of the current Linux users that love to be unique, they'll go over to good old FreeBSD. Well, if it was me, it would probably be Haiku. How's Haiku OS doing, by the way? I was looking at some videos by Dan, I can't remember his name now. He looks at a lot of old OS or Amiga, Commodore, and stuff like that. And he also looked at Haiku. Apparently there's an Amiga emulator. Not Amiga Forever, but a newer one that's really, really good. And I'm low-key thinking, and maybe, like, yes, software and hardware got advanced, but maybe we peaked in the 80s and 90s. Because we haven't, like, when you think about it, everything we do today is just a little, it's not super innovative. It's not super new, it's just it's just a better car or better form of this. It's a more streamlined. Look at all the programming languages we have nowadays. Why the fuck do we need all these programming languages? We really don't. It's just because we can, and they fix one little problem that's a little bit irritating to deal with. But then in like 20, 30, 50 years, when we have to deal with all of the legacy shit going on here, nobody at that point is still remembering fucking 5,000 different coding languages. And it's almost like every week a new coding language is this is the best thing ever because it handled this one thing better than anything else. And this is the future. This is the, yeah. Like, the end user don't give a fuck what coding language a thing is done in. You don't care if you're running OBS right now, OBS Studio, if that's in C, C++, Java, Python, whatever the fuck it is. As long as it works and it don't take like a supercomputer to run. And a lot of nerds and developers have forgotten about that. I used to say, for like 6 months to a year, I used to chase develop programming languages. Learn Go, and I looked into Rust and all these. I was like, do I use it at work where it matters? No. Do I have anything where I have to use it? No. Well, then use what you know. So I just use what I know. That's it. Like, if I need to do it, just learn it when you need to do it. It's not that difficult to learn a programming language. It's just, does it fix anything? If no, then just stick with what the fuck you have. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, people that are using Instagram don't give a fuck if that's React or Flutter or types, whatever. They don't give a fuck. They just want something that works. And we need to get back to that. in my opinion, with anything in tech. All this overfixating about the technology instead of what it's doing for the people using it. It used to be like we want to build cool shit for people to make people's life better. Now it's about you have to use my preferred development tool, my preferred philosophy, my preferred OS. No matter how better or worse it makes someone's life. Again, AI, we have to use AI. Is it fixing a problem? Is it making anything? Oh, we have to use it. What about, does it make sense? Does it do anything that is worthwhile? You know. Anyway, I need to get some food in my belly. See you all later. Have a good day. Bye bye.